X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, she said it all, but I think that one of the biggest thing too is collaboration, right? I mean, look what you guys have done, right? When with the legacy situation in Jersey that passed, where it allows other companies to come forth, individuals to come forth, and that never would have happened if it didn't have collaboration over the 9 months I did, you know. So I think the biggest thing is collaboration.
So, in this journey from brands and brick and mortar, what's one thing that, or more things that happened to you on this journey that you would not have expected?
Oof. I have business partners that fell out because it got too gritty for them. You know what I mean? They stuck by you and they wanted to reap the rewards, but then when they saw the red tape coming through, they just bounced. You know, so I think that's one thing you gotta um, keep your integrity number one and keep your head in the game and still keep going.
For me, I would say to be able to actually register and have a political party that is focused on cannabis. We didn't think that they were gonna approve it, and then at that we didn't. We just did not know that we would be able to do the things that we've done to be able to introduce legislation and actually be at a press conference as a cannabis party speaking about a bill that we were able to co-write with a New York State senator, and then working on, as he said, we worked on a program for about 8 to 9 months with the New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission, and we have the first legacy to legal program, a conditional
Excellent,
licensing
excellent.
program in the state of New Jersey, the only one in the country that not only provides conditional licensing for legacy, but they're giving you up to $250,000 in grant money, so they're not starting out with debts, and they're doing business coaching and development mentoring for those that are coming into the space so that they're setting them up for success. So that's really, really important for to see a state say, okay, we're gonna listen. And I always say we are community. So whenever we're at the table, our voices are being heard. So to see that happen, not knowing what that was outcome was gonna be, and having the state say, okay, we're gonna approve it and we're gonna roll it out January 2023. That's just been amazing for us. So
Hmm. Did you say surprises or disappointments? Which one?
Either one.
Either
Either
one.
one that
Let's
you want to
see.
lead with.
I mean, I'll just say generally, I've been extremely surprised on many levels. Like, I've been surprised about the lack of knowledge. I've been surprised about, like, you think you get with a corporate entity and your stuff is going to be together. They know what they're doing, and you still have to take the lead. You still have to be the one doing the things. And so it's been surprising, but something I've welcomed because that gives me an opportunity to really dig in and learn step by step. But it's been, y'all, I got denied my license. Like, it was devastating. I had to sue the state. I had to go through an appeal process. It was scary. People who I thought were going to support me, our social equity council, like, that's their job to support, it wasn't there. And so it was a really, really difficult time, because it was a lonely time. I didn't know what was happening. And, people just started coming out of the woodwork, saying, listen, I got you. We're going to make sure this goes forward. And so I was able to win my appeal in under 90 days. And that, like, never, ever happens. And so I was just licensed on the 1st of November. But, the whole process was just overwhelming and daunting. And it's something that, as we endeavor to be in this industry, understand this is like real business. This is like real work. This is like real, everything is real about this. Don't think that you're just gonna come in here and smoke some weed and and money's just gonna start flying around. No, that's not the way it goes. People, they make social equity laws and licenses, but they don't. Do you think the power structure has changed? Do you think all of a sudden they want us to be rich and have some power and be millionaires? No, it's the same thing. They make the laws because otherwise they would look like jerks. But they make it really, really hard for you to be successful. So just know that you can engage. It's not impossible in this industry, but it's not easy. They're not making it easy, and you got to be ready to put in the work. You got to read all your contracts. You got to know who you're like. You really have to pay attention and be on guard at all times.
Yes. So, I mean, I am not new to MJ Biz, but this is new. Like, this is different than everything else. Like if you've had the opportunity to walk the floor, you can see that this space right here just is holding a little bit of a different energy. So what do you think is the impact of MJ Biz, having a platform like this so inclusive?
I didn't want to just jump. I think it's extremely important, and I think it's us also putting the responsibility on conferences like this to say community needs to be here and to make it accessible. Everybody talks about equity, not understanding that equity is also making sure that people are included. It is very important to do things in these types of activations because people can come out, and also making sure that it's not unreachable. Sometimes these conferences, a lot of the community cannot afford, or they're not aware that they're happening. So this is the beginning of taking those appropriate steps and saying, we're going to make sure that it's inclusive, but also making sure that we're bringing the community in as well. Because when we're talking about creating pipelines, we need to make sure that they're aware of what's going on. We're educating them and we're showing them where the opportunities are while we're empowering them with the resources to actually take advantage of those opportunities. So I think this is a great step in the right direction. But yes, they need to do more. I'm just being real. They definitely need to do more. And I think that this is a step in good faith to say we're here to have that conversation and see how we can further these type of things.
I walked in and I was overwhelmed. Like there was not a lot of us. And, this is what we see continually. It's beautiful to see all of these beautiful Black and brown faces here. But you see what's happening to this industry. And so we have to be paying attention. We have to be engaged. We have to be involved because it won't be left to us, but it's good that they gave us a space here to be able to talk, to be able to share our thoughts, and to be able to help you understand what's out there and what the potentials are to be prepared.
Yeah, I would ditto that. I mean, just look around, right? You probably got 40% of all the Black and brown people here at this section right now, right? So we need that throughout the whole conference week, right? Not just the day, not just an hour or what have you. So shout out to Hazy for putting this on, and we're gonna help you to push this further, right? You know what I mean? We're gonna push this further all week.
I want to say that I'm thoroughly impressed. I'm thoroughly impressed with what Hayes was able to bring together, because the culture rules everything. The culture dictates everything, and some of that gets sanitized when you talk about the legal cannabis market. But this is what it is. This is what the consumers come for. This is the experience. This is the feeling that people want. And I think that it's only going to get bigger and better from here on out. Yes. So I'm going to wrap it up from here.
But can I just say, this is what the plant wants too. This is what the plant wants. It wants us together. It wants to be able to heal us. It wants to be able to economically empower us. It wants to free us.
Yes.
Free the plant and free us, okay?
Free the plant, but first free the people.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. I want to thank each of you for joining us today. I want to thank Hayes for the honor of having the time and the space and the platform. Did this. Thank you so much. Thank you. I didn't know I was moderating until 60 seconds before you went.
Some people will say it's Photoshop. What up, though?
Mic five, check, check. Check, mic five, mic five. Test, test. Check, check, mic five. Just a little.
Checking 512, mic 5. Thank you. 1 2, checking microphone 5. 5 going to 4. 4, mic 4. Bring it down a bit. Microphone 4. Check 4. Going to 3. 3, mic 3. Moderator mic. Moderator mic. Mic 3. Check check. Check check. Microphone 2. This is number 2. Check check. 1 2. Microphone 1. Check 1 2. You good? Alrighty. Checking 1 2.
Check, 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 check.
Oh, okay. Right beside it. We got more space for this room to scoot down this way. I gotta see how to get. We have more space for chairs. All right, gentlemen, speak loud.
What? Check, 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 check.
X mic ain't on.
My doctor as well. That's why I need.
1 2 1 2. Yep.
Sit out right now. Sit out. Gumbo.
Check, 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 check. Hazy, ready when you are. Black Cannabis Magazine. We got a very, very special panel going on right now. Want to bring y'all in to introduce y'all to our speakers that we have on the panel today. Right here to the left of me, I got Dr. Christian A. Mathis, also known as Trick, with heavyweight heads.
What up, though?
What up, though? To the left of him, I have Alvin Joyner, also known as Exhibit, with Napalm Brands.
Napalm. Yeah, there it is.
Napalm, with Napalm Brands.
Yes, sir.
Napalm gumbo on the way.
Bow, collaborations right here, right now. To the right of me, I have Reginald Noble, also known as Red Man.
You gonna say my name? My full name, my nigga?
You know, that's the beauty of
He just
being
hit me
legit.
with the helmet.
Yeah, word.
Like, man, what?
That's the beauty of it being legit now. That's right.
This is good. This is a good company.
So, Red Man represent the National Empowerment Party. We're going to talk on that. And then to the right of him, I have Kareem Butler, also known as Luca Brassi, with Gumbo Brands. So let's just get right into it, man. X, I want to start with you. Like, how long you been in the cannabis industry, and what made you get into the cannabis industry?
Well, I've been in for a decade. Easy. My first brand was Brass Knuckles, and we basically made the blueprint for a lot of the bigger brands that came out and didn't really bring the sophistication of the marketing ploys and the quality, and we spent money on packaging and oils and brought that to the forefront before anybody was really thinking of doing it that way. And then the second incarnation of what I was doing in cannabis is called Napalm. And we started in 2020, launched during the pandemic, and had, the same kind of market penetration from the front. It's a different business from that time to this, but I've learned a lot and become an operator during that time. So I've been in 10 years plus.
That's amazing. Uncle Trick, I want to ask you the same question. How long have you been in the cannabis industry, and when did you start?
Now, when you say cannabis industry, do that mean before the legal shit?
Yes, that means before.
After.
That means before and after. How did you transition into the legal?
Nigga. I go back to them Reggies from Cali for 200. Take them back, sell them for 650, 800. I go back to that Mexican brick weed, baby. You know what I'm talking about? I'm original around this motherfucker. Yeah, no, I mean, and as far as the, when the markets started to switch over, of course, after 9/11, that kind of crippled my whole situation because the borders was, but then, so I went full-term music. It worked out for me. Then the legal market came, and I just said one day, like when it came, I said, man, I got to get in. I got to figure out where I can and what I want to do, rather, not can, what I want to do without being so deep into the whole competitive aspect of it. Let me do me in it and it make all the sense in the world, because it got to be real. And man, one of the homies met me on a movie set. I was doing this movie called Cash Only, and the homie pulled up on me with a half a O of some OG SFV. I took that shit back to the studio. My little homie say, Unc, if you can get some more of this shit, we can be rich. Now I'm rich.
Let's go. Let's go. That's amazing. Redman, I want to ask you the same thing. I mean, you've been an advocate from your music career for over 30 years in the game, pushing the cannabis and pushing the, you know what I'm saying, the plant. How did you get started, you know what I'm saying, with cannabis, and what made you push it for so long up until the point to where now we here at MJ BizCon, you know, with corporates around us, and you've been pushing it, you know, since it before it was even legal. At the time, it was taboo.
Well, like Trick, you know, I came from the days of 2 for $5, selling 2 for $5s on the block.
Yes, sir.
And then I came from the days of Branson Uptown. Everybody know Branson if you're from up top. In them days, used to work with him, pumping shit from behind the counter. And like far as the rap game, like you already know, like it's been 25 to 30 years I've been in the rap game, putting this cannabis plant on the front line with me, Snoop, Method Man, and Be Real and Exhibit. And for people out there don't know, like we lost endorsements. We was not able to do and deal with certain companies because of what we represented, and that was the cannabis plant. Like in the early 90s, big facts, you might as well say cannabis was crack. Like big facts, they didn't understand it. And I came from that era of not compromising my brand or anything and not putting the cannabis plant down just for a bag. I always put the plant first, and I'm still here representing it behind the cannabis industry in a political form. Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Gumbo, I want to ask you the same thing. When did you get started into the cannabis industry, and how did you make that transition?
Well, I come from Uptown Harlem, the Bronx, and I'm from that 112th Street Nucleus era, where Redman used to go buy 100 bags. They were like, yes, sir. So I come from that era, Nucleus. I was one of the first people to bring Purple Haze to New York City via Miami, from the way of Miami, and they called it Crippy back then. Yes, sir. So I introduced the world to Purple Haze, Cameron days, Dipset, the Purple Haze era, and here I am now with Gumbo.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Let me bring it back to you, X. How has cannabis impacted your life, and how do you feel like it impacted your community?
It changed my life. Being a cannabis operator has changed my life indeed. You know, entertainment is a whole different beast. I think we all have heard good things, bad things about what entertainment does as far as, you know, compensation and as far as being in control of your situation. And so that is true to my circumstances. But I tell you, the first 3 years of being a cannabis operator, I was able to make more for my people and my team and my family around me in 3 years than I did my entire career as an entertainer. And I'm talking about film, TV, music, everything put together. So cannabis has changed my life in that aspect. So now when I go do entertainment, I do it because I want to, not because I have to. You know what I'm saying? And that's a good feeling. That is getting off the hamster wheel. So any kind of information that I have, I give it freely to people that are around me or trying to get into what we are doing, and give the best advice to their circumstance of what they have. And you know, as far as my community, that's what I do. There's not a lot of us. There's not a lot of Black-owned cannabis companies. There's not a lot of Black operated cannabis companies. And that is something that, you know, is not acceptable. You know what I'm saying? Because we spend the most money outside of our own community and don't really come back and help ourselves. And then it becomes, you know, a point of contention between us. So now we have to get into a point where if I can give Trick some best point of operations in California that he can use in the Midwest, then we speak with each other and do that. You know, like I was saying what I was saying upstairs, you know, everybody wants to get in now, but I feel like that train has left the station. And so I think now the best thing you can do if you want to be in the cannabis industry is get behind people who have brands like Gumbo, like Trick, you know, heavyweight heads, like Napalm. There's many jobs that you can get in this and work underneath and learn the game from the ground up. don't try to be the president on the first day, because it just doesn't work that way. You know what I'm saying? So support one another like that. And I think, for our community, that's our entrance into it, because there's been people here that have been doing it for a long time and did all the heavy lifting and built the companies and had the distribution companies together. Shout out Marlo Richardson up in here. You know what I'm saying? Greenwood Distribution. These are all people that we work together with in order to get forward in what we're doing. So, as far as cannabis, it's changed my life. It's changed everybody's life around me. And for my community, I want to give all the information I can to show them the right, proper way to do this, because it doesn't happen overnight and it's not easy to do. But if you can't support those in your community that's doing it, do that.
Absolutely. Big facts. Uncle Trick, I want to ask you the same question. How did you start using cannabis, and how do you feel like it impacted your life and your community around you? Because I know you got different partnerships in Michigan as well.
I got a story about how I started using cannabis with DJ Thriller.
Let's hear it.
I know the shit we were not, but let me just tell you, it was a situation where if I hadn't have hit that weed, I wouldn't be here, because I was going to make a very awful decision.
That's deep.
And it just bam, I gave it a shot, because I was against it when I thought, like a lot of other people, when it was illegal, that it was a dangerous drug, and I was taught never use drugs. So it was like I shied away from it. I used to talk shit to my brothers when they used to smoke weed, like, y'all gonna be stupid.
How do you feel about it now?
I tell them I apologize all the time, buy them cars and shit. Because it changed my life so much that, it literally has, like, now I'm Papa now, I can do so much more. And I'm opening a school now, what I'm saying, and using amazing. My resources.
That's amazing. Let's give it up for that.
I'm using my resources to teach young people about everything that I know how to do. I'm a jack of all trades, master of many. So, I'm gonna upload, and get these youngsters the resources they need. Because like I said earlier, I don't mind the devil workshop. So when kids ain't got nothing to do, they don't have the resources that they need to become greater at what they, maximize their full potential. Well, that's what, heavyweight heads, that's what we do. We put our pennies together and we go, let's do this for them. And it's a prime focus, whereas before, I don't know how much thought. I mean, I've always been about my community, but I don't know how much thought or belief I had in myself that I would even be able to open it. My name is Dr. Christian Anthony Mathis now. This is post-cannabis. So, yeah, cannabis changed my life tremendously. Like, everything about the enlightened, Dr. Mathis is I can definitely go back to the plant, to the herb. The herb saved me. I'm so glad Aaron came to that movie. They booked me for that movie. I didn't want to do that movie either. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it. Then he's like, man, me, my man, bro, he gave me a half of that OG Lord.
Change your life.
Yes, sir.
So talk to us a little about the heavyweight heads.
Heavyweight heads is the best bag growing in Michigan, period, hands down. I ain't really got to even dispute it like that. I'm telling you, I done tested, tried, been all over the country, searched high and low. I ain't seen nothing that can touch it. I put my name on it. You see Trick OG, the best bag growing. If I'm lying, I'm flying, because you go to Michigan right now, go to any dispensary or pull up, call me. Meet me at the studio and you can smoke some Trick OG with me. If that ain't the best weed you ever smoked, then you ain't got to pay me for it.
So what is your passion? What is your passion and your beliefs as far as the quality of flower? Obviously, in the cannabis industry is oversaturated with flower. So what is your perspective on the quality of the flower and how we, breed this plant?
It's like rap, like I said earlier, everybody can rap. Anybody, my grandbabies can rap, but, are you X, are you Redman, are you M, Trick, Big, the best who've, not just the marketing behind them, but the gifts that they possess. Like, and when it comes to cannabis, there's a difference between cultivator and a goddamn weed grower. Like, it's like a beat maker versus a producer. You know what I mean? Anybody can put up a light and grow 12 plants or whatever. And a lot of people really believe because it fucking grew, then you got plants that you done did it. And it's like, no, bro, you have no flavor. This tastes like basement laundry, and what did you fertilize this with? Did the dog pee down here? What the fuck is this, dog? I mean, it's a lot of that, you know what I mean? And you look at how that damaged the cannabis industry. In some markets, pounds is $600, you know, and it's like we go from $4,200 to $600. I mean, like X say, only the brands will survive, but what makes a brand? A phenomenal product. You have to have a phenomenal product, and that comes with dealing with cultivators and dealing with the scientists, the scientists that sit there and actually understand the whole science, because I don't understand it all, but the people in our businesses, our offices do. And it's about the culture and giving a fuck about what you produce in here, because this is medicine. It all boils down to the herb. The people have to be satisfied with the herb. The herb have to work for them. The medicine has to work for them. It's not about the money is an added bonus, bro. It's about the this should save my life, so I'm like a living witness.
Let's give it up for that. Let's give it up for that. Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
So, and it come from having a superb product in my possession. I got blessed. You know what I mean? And I met somebody who had that deal, and it was just like, yes, this is it. If it's going to be a run on a business, yes, we might as well take advantage. But the bottom line is to create a phenomenal product that the customer will enjoy and continue to come back in.
That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. And Gumbo, so picking up on Uncle Trick, with you speaking on brands, Gumbo, how did you transition, you know, from the street credibility that Gumbo had to where you are now? Speak on some of the partnerships that, you know what I'm saying, you have looking forward to.
Well, first and foremost, I would like to thank everyone for presenting my wife and I with this platform, because I believe with great power becomes greater responsibility. So what Gumbo does at Gumbo, we empower our people, our Black and our brown and our Latino people. So, you know, for us to be wealthy and, like Uncle Trick said, rich and multi, whatever, that's cool, but we're giving back to our people. So at Gumbo, we have over 50 different franchisees that came under us to the brand. So the brand is just so open and organic. And like you said, we never compromised our flower. We've been in the game for the last going on 4 years, but the first 2 years we surpassed everybody because we never put shit in the bag and gave it to you. See, when you smoke Gumbo, it's pleasant. Everyone, oh my God, it's candy. We love you. Gumbo. See, like you said, anywhere you go, everybody came. We had a little thing last night, a little turnout. The brother smoked it, and he just came. He said, "Yo, this is different." So that's what Gumbo is providing. You know, we're here to change the trajectory for like I said, our Black and Latino people. And Alexis and I are the first Black couple, husband and wife, that own our company.
Let's give it up for that. Let's give it up for that.
No sellout shit. You know, we just got the biggest deal with cookies. We're very elated. The tour bus is outside with Gumbo on the side of it. And, you know, this is what Gumbo is for us. Everybody of different ethnicity, all in one pot, and we stir it real slow.
That's right.
I love that. I love that. I love that. So speaking of brands, Redman, I want to bring it over to you. You haven't started your brand yet. So you started the National Empowerment Party.
United Empowerment Party. Listen,
United Empowerment
I'm gonna just
Party.
cut to the chase. Listen, I've been asked to endorse plenty of brands and get a bag off of endorsing. I've been asked to grow, to put my name and white labeled. I don't want to do that. If I'm gonna do a strain, I'm gonna grow it from the ground, and I'm gonna watch it grow, and I'm gonna put in the time. And it's like 4 to 5 years to really get a good strain of your own out the ground. So until I do that, y'all never seen my name on the strain. Y'all never seen my name on the vape pen. Y'all never seen my name nowhere, because God was saving this purpose for me. Amen. To be behind the scenes of the cannabis industry. And I'm part of the United Empowerment Party, FEC approved, meaning we could put someone in the president's chair one day. We're writing bills for states. We're doing big business. Wow. You're not going to find my name on no products right now. I haven't made one dime from the cannabis industry, not 1 quarter, only when I was selling it on the block. As far as now having a brand, I have not made 1 coin. I have spent my money being at functions like this so I could talk to people about what's going on and how we need to embrace to unite to have a better cannabis industry.
Like, for example, me and my sis, who is the president right here of culture, is the president of the United Empowerment Party. And we just passed the bill for New Jersey, the first one of its kind in America, the Technical Assistance Program. All right? And that's right. And that's right. And we're giving conditional licensing to legacy operators in our state. You know, we're not just giving them a license so they can fail. That's what they're doing. They want to just say, oh, social equity. Social equity is the welfare word of the cannabis industry. Fuck that. We're equity empowering. That's what it's about.
Absolutely,
and
absolutely.
We're the first state, New Jersey, where I'm from, my nigga. Like, big facts. We're the first to initiate a program of this magnitude that's going to help our hustlers off the street to get a license, and not only get a license but sustain it, and then educate them about,
and then also
it.
educate them and teach them about what they're doing. Because just to piggyback on what he's saying, not to cut you off, Fred, they keep saying license, license, license. Okay, all right, a liquor store license. Okay,
that's right.
I want to be this ace of spades at a liquor store. I'm not trying to be the liquor store. So know what you're doing. Educate yourself. So that's what we're here to do.
And not only that, my brother, not only are we giving conditional licensing out, we also have grants up to 250 grand that we are initiating to these legacies so they can run their own business. And what we're about, the United Empowerment Party is about, is holding these politicians accountable. If they say they're going to do something for the cannabis industry, they're going to fucking do it. And we're going to make sure they do it.
That's right.
Y'all can join in. Please help us put paint where it ain't. And we're going to tap into the areas that's been affected by war on drugs. We're going to help these prisoners getting out of behind bars that's been arrested for the cannabis product.
We're going to help these young kids get off of opioids and lean and all this
bullshit. Absolutely. So that's what the United Empowerment Party is about. Just to let y'all know, I haven't made 1 quarter, not even 10 cents from this cannabis industry. I'm for the purpose, not the profit. Let's give it up for that. Let's give it up for that.
That's right.
So transitioning, I want to go back to X. Transitioning from an artist and entertainer to a businessman in the cannabis industry. Can you tell us about the challenges that you have faced for that transition?
There's a lot of challenges in this industry. Speaking from the traditional market into the legal market. If you're not an operator and you don't understand that you can lose your business with having the wrong people employed by you. You can lose your business by not understanding what the market is wanting. It starts with the plan. It starts with the plan. That is the most important thing. But if you don't have things that are behind you, like the people that run and operate your business with you, you could lose a lot. So understanding the margins, understanding what distribution means, understanding what being vertically integrated, being a multi-state operator, these are not things that you just, read in a book or in a blog or watch a podcast and think you understand it. There is a lot of moving parts. I know, Trick can understand this. This is like at the back end of the business, the way you do your books, the way you do your taxes, the way you get ready for federal legalization. Each state does things differently, right? And just because federal legalization happens doesn't mean all of a sudden I'm going to be able to ship California weed to Michigan just overnight like avocados. It's going to be different because each state is enjoying their tax revenue as it is now. So if you're not going to be able to come in and all of a sudden like, oh, it's legal now, so we can just put it in gas stations. There's going to be a lot of growing, and a lot of things that are going to happen for legalization of cannabis. But right now it's the wild, wild west. People are losing their shirts because you think you can throw money around the cannabis industry. And it is about relationships. It is about the culture of cannabis. And it is not something that you can just slap a sticker on just because, we've seen Justin Bieber try to put out weed. We know he don't smoke. You know what I'm saying? Like
we see a lot of artists doing a lot of things, they're pouring a lot of money into this, but this ain't for everybody.
No.
So no disrespect to nobody, but I don't see Puff Daddy selling weed. Thank you. I see Gumbo selling weed. Yeah, that's what Gumbo does.
Yeah,
I'm just. I
think it's important to understand that this is a business, and just like when we just started making records. You know, when I was a kid, I just started making records. I just wanted to make records. I didn't understand the energy of the music business. It's two words, not just one. So I didn't really wrap my head around what the business was when I was a kid. But now going into cannabis, I know every aspect of what makes my business or breaks my business. I know every single thing from the ground up, from the person that turns on the lights in the distro in the morning to the people that actually go into the stores, the representatives, the brand ambassadors, the people that really like the bud tenders. If you don't know every aspect of this business, there's a lot that you can fumble the ball on, and every step is important. So if you're not paying attention to that, if you think it's just going to be fun or think this is something that's easy, no, we get up early, we go to bed late, and we do it all again every day. That's what running this business is all about. So if the challenges are there, but it is not impossible. You don't hire the homies to do this. You hire qualified people in order to run your business because you inspect what you expect, you know, and it's all about relationships. Like, for example, you know, there was things that I really sucked at for napalm, you know, because I did it all myself. I was trying to be self-distributed. I was trying to
But you perfected it.
You know what I'm saying? No, I did not perfect it. What I did is I went and got people that actually knew what the fuck they were doing.
Got it.
So, you know what I'm saying? So right now, napalm is underneath the umbrella of a bigger brand. You know, that now we partner with Buddies. Buddies is a multi-state operator. The gentleman Michael Cook and his wife are here today. They really have stepped behind what we've been doing and took every aspect of everything that I wasn't good at and perfected that. So now they manufacture all of our stuff. You know what I'm saying? We're in multi-state operations that now we are stronger together because it's those relationships. Don't try to do it all yourself. Use the people around you that want to do good business with you and bring them and make them stronger. So that's what we're doing here.
That's amazing. Speaking on those different partnerships and relationships, how did you build your partnerships and how did you get those relationships?
There's a lot of bullshit out here. There's a lot of bullshit people. There's a lot of bullshit that when it comes to what they can do, how they can do it. Oh man, I grow the best shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, my shit is testing at this, but you only got 2 plants. You only got 1 room. How we gonna expand? You know what I'm saying? It's like there's a lot of people that talk big but don't deliver. So you have to inspect what you expect. You have to go out. You have to put eyes on it. You have to see why, you know what I'm saying? If they're coming to you, you know, what are you getting from me that you don't have already in motion? You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to find the common ground. And most of the time, it's just people just trying to just get shit going. You know what I'm saying? But there are some good people out here. That, you know, it's slim, but there are good people that be about what they're talking about. And if you go out and you got to do the legwork, you can't just take people on face value. It may look good on paper, but you got to go see it. You know, I've had people say, look, man, I got this grow. We got a 50,000, foot, facility. And I go in there, it's no plants in there. It's just your idea. You know what I'm saying? It's like, don't sell me on ideas, man. We have things that we have to do. We got people that's counting on us. Like, I'm not trying to like disrespect you, but don't waste my time. But you have to go give everybody, the benefit of the doubt. Go look and see. And if it's not actually there, then you may have to go move on. But it's a lot of shifting through bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Uncle Trick, I want to bring it to you with the heavyweight brands in Michigan. How do you feel the market in Michigan is compared to other markets?
I don't know. I just stay focused on Michigan. I just, I know California get hella overtaxed, and I even though we have our product in the cookie stores in California, it's like, Jesus Christ, they robbing these people, man. So, as far as Michigan is concerned, the climate change like the dope game. You got to go with the flow. You got a good product, yeah, and then Rolls Royce don't argue with who ain't got it. You dig? They don't care about who ain't got it. I ain't. When it comes to that, that's that. So that's gonna be that. And if you want that, you gotta buy that. If you can't afford that, that ain't for you. and that's you know, you elevate, you know, you move, you go with the flow, you move with, you know, and you got it, you know. There's a lot of people close that, you know, we got some people that had grow shops, they lose 90% of their customers. People shutting their grows down. It don't add up. I ain't going nowhere.
That's right. Heavyweight is in the building.
Heavyweight heads, baby.
Gumbo, tell us about, you know, in New York, you know, they're about to get ready to distribute some of the licenses for the dispensary. Yes. How is that market, and what do you expect, you know, moving forward in the New York market now that cannabis is legal down there?
Well, I just expect to keep pushing the brand, keep pushing Gumbo. And I already know what it's going to take me. Look where it took me in the last couple of years. I'm sitting here with y'all. So, you know.
Facts.
You did.
Just keep working, keep pushing. I'm like the Energizer Bunny. I don't sleep. I just work, me and my wife. If I go to sleep and I wake up, she's on the phone working. So that's what we about. Empowering our black people and just keep pushing Gumbo.
That's dope. Rare Man, I want to ask you, what is some advice you would give people that's trying to look to get into the cannabis industry?
The advice I can give you is think outside the box. Everyone wants to get a dispensary. Everyone wants to sell flower. But there's so many occupations to this cannabis industry you can tap into. And you got to think outside the box. Look at hemp. I advise y'all to investigate hemp, okay? Everyone thinks that running a dispensary, you're going to get the bag, and it's not, just like X said earlier. It comes with different technical learning abilities you have to do to keep an actionable facility like his. Think outside the box, y'all. Don't just run and try to get a license. Fuck getting a dispensary license. Get a delivery license. It's so many other jobs to this cannabis industry that you can do. But just because a lot of people has been misinformed about the cannabis industry, that it's all about selling flower and getting a dispensary. That's why you see the Puff Daddies and the Jay-Z's, and you're going to see they're going to horribly fail because their financial team is not alerting them about the real problems of this industry. You got to be connected with everything you do. Big facts. You gotta do the footwork. You just can't jump in any occupation and just say, I'm gonna make it. Just like no one can just jump in a rap game and say, I'm gonna be a rapper and succeed. Maybe nowadays because these new niggas can jump on and they can just but when it comes to a platform like this with this magnitude, you have to do the groundwork. You have to do your research. And I can tell you right now, thank you, Hazy, for having this kind of platform for us to talk to and educate people. You have to research and look into other deals that's going on with this cannabis industry. And there's so many other windows.
Cannabinoids.
Hold up, my nigga, hold up. There's so many other windows besides selling flower that you can do and make a profit and create generational wealth. I advise you to think outside the box and investigate hemp. Remember, I told you that.
Yeah, man. There's. I want to add on to that because there's a lot of brilliant minds in front of us right now, and people watching this thing online. Right now, one of the biggest issues that cannabis has is banking. The banks don't want our money. They don't want to deal with us. They don't want to give us any kind of savings or whatever. These are things that we can get in front of now because as soon as federal legalization hits, then all of a sudden you're going to see a cannabis Wells Fargo sign. You're going to see a Chase, a Chase banking sign, a cannabis slot on your ATM thing. So as long as we can deal with each other and lock arms, there are things that Red hit it on the head. There's so many other things besides having a strain or having a dispensary or having a delivery service that we can do. We just going for the low-hanging fruit. Look at every single aspect of what builds a business and realize that it doesn't exist for cannabis yet. Because the people that have those systems, they're getting ready for it, they just haven't turned on the lights yet. So just if we can like speak together freely, then those are things that are right in front of us that if we can figure out how to do it on the street, then you better believe that we can do it legally. So you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of inspiration here for the people that's watching. Find out what these systems require and then come to the table because not everybody's going to be you know what I'm saying, not everybody's going to be Trick. Not everybody's going to be Burner. Not everybody's going to be Gumbo. You know what I'm saying? Like these are things that we can get in front of and be part of right now. So I applaud what Red was saying about that.
And don't get me wrong, bro. Like, you know, one day I will have my name on a brand that will sustain, that people can trust. Even when we come to these events, these MJ Biz events and events in New York, we all come here and we get a gang of cards that we're not going to use. Yeah, everyone passing out a card. I go home with 1,000 cards. I don't even use all those motherfuckers. But we don't come up with a solution. We come to these events and we leave without a solution. We got to unite. Short story, quick story, right quick. I was on a flight with this white lady. No offense to my white people in the building, but I was on a plane with this white lady, right? And she was acquiring while a lot of people was talking to me, and I told her what I did. And I told her I was going to a cannabis. This was over 15 years ago, my nigga. She told me what she do. She said, I make business deals for big companies, over $1 billion business deals. And I said, yeah. She said, it's funny that you mentioned you're going to a cannabis convention, because right now I'm in the midst of talking to Walgreens. They just bought out a whole bunch of land and hoping they can sell cannabis behind the counter one day. And this was over 15 years ago. So big farmers are coming. Big farmers are fucking coming. And if we don't unite now, we're in fucking trouble. All right, so learn, research this industry, and come into it with a purpose, not the fucking profit. Everyone knows when you do things for the love and the purpose first, the profit is you can't even count it. So do things for the love, right, Hazy? All right, my man.
Absolutely, that's amazing. Gumbo, can you pick up on that? What's some advice you would give to some of the people that's looking to get into the cannabis
industry? Like Brad
industry?
said, there's other things that you can do. Vape pens, cannabinoids, gummies, which my wife and I are in the process of making. You can also go to www.thegumboshop.com so you can get an idea of what's going on. And there's so many things. This cannabis industry is like a tree. Whatever branch, whatever leaf, whatever arm, whatever stem that you can grow, do different things. It's not just the flower. See, because gumbo for us is a lifestyle. It's how me and my wife live every day. How we wake up and work, and how we do giveaways, and how back to school we give backpacks, and Christmas we give out toys to the kids, and turkeys, and this, that, and Halloween. And we just always give, and we give, and we give, and we want to keep giving because we are the culture. You know, Redman, he's been speaking about cannabis forever. I grew up listening to him, started smoking cannabis.
I seen him.
He taught us how to roll a blunt. What are you talking about?
Real talk.
You know, it's just like so many different outlets, and we just have to keep educating ourselves. And thank you, Hazy, for giving us this platform.
Shout out Hayes, Black Cannabis Magazine. Let's give it up for Hazy.
This is like a dream team of people that really made it from all different hoods. Like you got New York, you got New Jersey, you got Detroit, you got like. It's just so crazy, man, and I'm just so elated. My wife and I are here and be a part of this, man. Thank you very much.
Hey, shout out to Hayes, man. This is amazing. So speaking on lifestyle, I'm gonna get ready to close it, but I want to ask these last few questions. Speaking on lifestyle, we are, we heading towards 30 years since the Chronic album. So, speaking on lifestyle, marketing, and advertising, I know what an album like that releasing now, and it was back then, it was like taboo. What are your thoughts? And point of view as far as from the Chronic being released almost 30 years, from now to where we are now 30 years later?
Well, I mean, being part of that camp, being part of what Dre has brought to the music as far as being in the forefront of not giving a fuck whether people were offended or not, you know what I'm saying, with the Chronic, it was synonymous with, the kind of state of where cannabis was looked at and viewed, but it came from us. It came from us enjoying it, and it came from us like making it part of our thing, whether it was legal or not. So it's funny coming into 2022, you know what I'm saying, and seeing where cannabis is now celebrated, and it's still people that have been imprisoned for this and still in prison for doing what other companies are making damn near $1 billion off of right now. So that's something that needs to be brought to the forefront. But as far as where it started, you know, when we was putting them albums out, smoke it was only two things you could say about weed. It was stress or chronic. Right. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't all these fucking fancy names and fancy strains and all these. Oh, I got gelato mixed with berry crust. I don't know, but like none of that stuff existed. So the chronic is kind of like it was in an infancy style stage, but now seeing where it's blossomed to, you know, we put out the Chronic 2001. You know, and introduced it again. So it was a representation of what we, you know, fell in love with good weed, good music, the lifestyle of what we were doing. And that's exactly where, you know, it landed. And I was proud to be a part of that whole, you know, system of things. And, you know, we come from that tree, you know what I'm saying? And it's funny because it grows, you know what I'm saying? They say money don't grow on trees. But on that one, it did. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely,
and
absolutely.
That's what Dre did for us with the Chronic album.
Man, that's amazing, Uncle Trick. I want to ask you, you know, 30 years from the Chronic album, where was you at during that time, and how do you feel like it has impacted the cannabis industry today?
Chronic.
The Chronic.
I mean, you know, before the Chronic, it was how you roll a blunt, wasn't it? So I was listening to Blow Your Mind and the Blow Your Mind remix by the brother from Jersey, you know, and he said something about a Philly blunt. I was like, what is this? What are they talking about? Then when Dre came, it was like weed, you know, Chronic's only weed you're looking for. How did it impact today? I mean, yeah, everybody searched for Chronic when it came. And they liked it, and they just kept smoking it. So now everybody got some Chronic. They just got different names.
Red, I want to ask you the same thing. You know, your music career was taking off during that time. How do you feel like during that time, 30 years since the Chronic, you know, where was you at during that time, mindset-wise, with the cannabis and the Chronic? And, you know, how do you feel like it evolved till today?
Facts. I was high as a motherfucker. First of all, to be very clear, East Coast weed was brown. All right? Everybody know in the crowd, East Coast weed was brown. We smoked chocolate, we smoked lamb spread, and it wasn't till I seen Cypress Hill on the first High Times. They were the first rap artists on the High Times magazine with that green bud. And I was like, yo, what the fuck is that? Like, I was like, yo, I was amazed. And then when Dre came out with the Chronic, I'm like, there's something going on that I need to tap into. Because these niggas on the West Coast is smoking. We smoking some bullshit. So big facts. Like anybody from Uptown, Jersey, and the Tri-State, you know, all majority of our weed was brown. We had skunk. That was the closest that we got to green, was skunk. But around the time Dre dropped the album and the Chronic came out, they gave it a name of the green. And I was like, I got to get to the West Coast. I got to try that shit. So I was a high motherfucker trying to reach Dre and them to smoke that shit.
So when did you make it out to the West Coast to finally get that West Coast weed?
Immediately. First, when I got to the West Coast, I didn't even know how to get to Hollywood. I was going to Compton. A lot. And they had the Chronic out there and some other bud called the Orange. That Orange or whatever.
They got everything in common.
Yeah, exactly. So that's when I really first started smoking it. But yeah, I went out there immediately, man.
Gumbo, tell us where you was at during the time when the Chronic was released, and how do you feel like it impacted your life?
I was a teenager. It destroyed.
It said destroy me.
No, it made me who I am today, man. Without the Chronic, it wouldn't be no Gumbo.
That's what's up, man. That's amazing.
Right.
So I want to go through and just get last remarks from each last one of y'all. You know, Exhibit, give us any last remarks that you want to let the people know. You know what I'm saying, as far as the cannabis space and what you got going on.
Well, first of all, thank you for having us up here. You know what I'm saying? This has been a journey for me. Building this business, like I said, it's been gratifying. Just like if I was putting together an album or putting together a different project. We employ a lot of people. We take care of a lot of families. And if you want to support Napalm, which I think is not mandatory, but bringing people awareness of, because there's not a lot of us that work in this industry. So trust me, if they try to squeeze us out like they have, you know what I'm saying? Then it's important to know who's around you, know what you're buying, not just because of the importance of what you want to smoke, but know who's supporting you also on this side of the fence. These are things that aren't publicized, but I'm not the person to get in front of. Like, I don't want to, like in the 90s, everybody was like, everybody presents. You know what I'm saying? Everybody presents. They wanted to be in front of everything, but I choose to let the brand be the star, and people don't know that I owned it. Like my first brand, Brass Knuckles, people didn't know that I owned it or created it with my other business partners until they knew. So, right now it's different. It's different. Especially our hip hop brothers and sisters. It's not like alcohol. It's not like clothing. Cannabis has to work because it's a medicine. They don't care about who's the influencer. They don't care about who puts it on their face or their glasses or holds it up in their video. It has to work. People work hard for their money. People work hard for what they have. And when they go get cannabis, it has to work for that reason and that reason alone. So we are part of that system. We are working hard on this side of the fence. I just ask that you spread the word. If you know who's behind the brands, tell some person, let's bring some more support for the brands that come from our culture, because trust me, they have no problem using our culture and dumping it on our ass when they have taken everything out of it. So let's focus on what we can do positively to support each other. Get ready, because the next 3 years, the people that go away, we have to also look at it real quick. The cannabis is at a position right now. And when you look at prohibition, when prohibition ended, there was people that put the XXX on a brown bottle with a cork and didn't give a shit what they put in it, and then they put it out and it was selling just as well as brands like Seagram's and Jim Beam and the people that held on and took care of their brands. But now you look at those people that put the XXX on their bottle, they're out of here. But now that the people that took care of their brands, these are 150-year-old brands that are still existing to this day. So realize that we are in that position. We have the position and we have the power to take care of each other and do this. So focus on that. Realize that this is, a very special time, and that's all I got to say. Thank you.
That's amazing. Chick, I want to ask you the same thing. Close us out with any final remarks, and then let us know what you got going on in the goals for heavyweight heads.
You have power. Many of you that you have no idea that you have. A lot of you. And I look around here and I see you, and a lot of us, we come from making excuses and putting, barriers in front of a speak your word into existence. Whatever it is, like he said, think outside the box. Don't be scared of what you can't see right now. If you can visualize it, it's alive in another dimension. If you walk towards it like you walk towards anything else, if you start here and going that way, when you keep walking, you will get there. It don't matter what it is. So whatever you want out of not just the cannabis industry, but your life, write it, plan it, speak it, walk it, live it, and it shall be yours.
Absolutely. Give it up. Give it up.
Yeah, we just the church. Come on.
Give it up for
Dr.
Christian A. Mathis.
Pastor Mathis. Deacon X.
The heavyweight way.
That's the doctor coming out.
Come on now.
If it wasn't for that weed, no cuz, I wouldn't know none of that shit. I'm gonna put it on everything, fam. That weed to sit you down with, you gotta talk to the most important person, your goddamn self. What you gonna do that for? Why you say that? What? Don't do that no more. That ain't make no damn sense. You know damn well better than that. You right. I know some of that trick. Yeah.
That's that trick OG had you doing that for
sit
sure.
you down, go on, park that ass.
Wait, man, I want to, get any final remarks from you, and then, just let the people know as far as what you're doing with the United Empowerment Party. UnitedEmpowermentParty.org, that is the website. United Empowerment Party on IG, that is the IG tag. Join us, help us put paint where it ain't. I can say we got to unite. We got to unite now.
Hazy, thank you for this platform. But the next one next platform you do it, the next MJ Biz, let's talk about solutions. And let's leave with some solutions that we can start uniting. Because it's not gonna be worth it when these big farmers come in. You understand? Do y'all understand out there? Let's unite. Let's come up with some fucking solutions and actually go home and act on it. One thing I can say is we gotta love each other. We gotta respect each other. There's a lot going on out here besides that, besides this business. Once you get awareness of yourself and love yourself and put yourself first, then you can have a profitable business and a business that's going to be working for the purpose. So I would say everyone out there, love yourself, put yourself first, and let's love each other. And far as the business of cannabis, I cannot really state this any more clearly. Please do your research and think outside the box and help this industry from sinking. We need everyone out there to be on their A game right now. Like right fucking now. Now is the time, and I'm gonna sign off with that. And Red and Meth is at the Brooklyn Bowl tonight. We getting green light lit in this bitch. We on stage, so come through. Yes, sir. Hey, nigga. Yeah, we lit tonight. Gumbo.
I just want to say, chase your dreams, believe, and whatever you want to do. Like, don't think that it can't happen. My wife and I are here, and we're like, we're living proof.
That's right.
As a couple, as partners, as best friends. Put family first, put God first, and like Trick said, think it into existence. Whatever you think becomes reality. I thought I was going to be here. I'm here. So thank you. Thank you, Hazy. Love
absolutely. Let's give it up. Let's give it up for the panel. Let's give it up for the panel. Hey, I'm your moderator and your host, Damian Smith. Follow me on Instagram at Be The Future. My company is We Are The Culture's History. This is what We Are The Culture History is about. I connected with Hayes, Black Cannabis Magazine, and we put this panel together. This is amazing. This is what we're talking about when we say united. When we say united, We Are The Culture's History. This is it right here. Welcome to the culture, and we are here to stay, people. Let's give it up for Hayes. Let's give it up for our panelists and everybody that spoke today. Good job, nephew. Hold on, I got a gift for y'all too. Hold on, let me get this bag. I got some stuff for y'all. Hold on. Sponsored by cookies. Hold on.
Oh, I like free shit. Yeah.
Hey, what size you say you? 2X.
Yo. On the favors on me.
I love it. Black love is everything.
I got some stuff for you. Okay, so I got some stuff for I already know.
Checking. Mike 5 is live. Here you go.
Yo. Everybody, don't go anywhere. The next panel is getting ready to start. So, stick around. Where J Mills at? Yes. We need HAC for all the people that's in the halfway house smoking weed too. HAC. That's what we gotta get. We gotta get this to them because that's why it's going to be 2 They won't do it. So we gotta get them the right way. leaving? How many on the panel? 3 and the person. 3 and the moderator? It's a small space.
Diamonds is my lemonade. Diamonds is my lemonade, baby. Diamonds is my lemonade. Diamonds is my lemonade, baby. Diamonds is my lemonade. Oh, come and taste my lemonade. Come and taste my lemonade. Diamonds is my lemonade, baby. Diamonds is my lemonade. Diamonds is my lemonade, baby. Diamonds is my lemonade. Diamond is my lemonade, baby. Diamond is my lemonade, baby. Diamond is my lemonade, baby. Diamond is my lemonade.
Is it oh, nice.
You.
Hey.
Don't taste my lemonade. Don't taste my lemonade.
Go ahead, make my day.
What are we doing? So we don't have the moderator. We're just talking. No, he's the moderator.
I got the questions. Let's rock and roll. Mic check, mic check.
1 2 1 2.
How's it going, y'all? My name is Juan Aguirre. I'm a registered nurse and dispensary license owner in Chicago, and the moderator today with two amazing women, Celeste Rodriguez from Acre 41, a vertically integrated licensee, and Alex Major from Gumbo Brands, Miss Gumbo, with me today. And again, can we get a round of applause for Hayes? I don't know where he's at right now, but thank you so much, Hayes, for putting on this panel. So let's get right into it. And this panel discussion, we're waiting for one individual to join us. Give us 1 second.
You want to move this way?
We got a seat. Here, take this one. I'll stand. You can sit here. Oh, I'm good standing. All right, for sure.
Can I throw this?
And our third panelist, if you want to introduce yourself.
My name is Tammy, also known as the Cannabis Cutie. I'm a cannabis educator in the space, also a consultant, speaker on talent personality, an educator and advocate.
Thank you so much for joining us. And let's get right into it. There's been a lot of discussion and allegations of political corruption in terms of cannabis licensing. Some claiming that large corporations act in a manner that is cartel-like. What are your experiences if you've applied in states and operated with social equity programs and corruption?
Corruption lies high when it comes down to social equity programs throughout any state that you're in. I live in Arizona. We have a social equity program there, and it was horrible. I actually ended up suing the Department of Health Services as well as the governor behind the social equity program. That's at Acre 41. Didn't help any, and the only reason why it didn't help because the corruption level goes up so high. There's so much money that's being paid and paid and paid because it's a cash flow industry, and the money is there that people are selling their soul. Arizona, there was 26 licenses that were awarded. Of those 26 licenses, there were only actually 3 licenses that went to true social equity applicants. And what that means is they received over how many? 6,000 numbers.
6,000 applications.
And then we only actually got, what happened was the MSOs came through and they applied for multiple ones, 300 and something from one applicant. And the state actually made the regulation that said you can only apply one time, and they were blatant with it. That was a disrespect with it. They didn't try to hide it under different entities or LLCs. All they basically did was gave a number ABC1 through ABC 300 and something. They were that bold with it and got away with it. Another sad part about it, one of the people that we actually sat down with to help create the rules for social equity program, they were actually a lawyer at one point in time. Now they actually sit on the a judge on the appellate court, 9th district. So, I mean, the corruption goes up high and it goes through multiple states. Illinois is another state. We apply for licenses out there. And since 2019, we've had to come legal battles. So unfortunately, when it comes down to social equity program, they don't take the time to create the rules that actually empower and assist the people that live in these disproportionately affected neighborhoods.
Thank you for sharing. Anybody else want to chip in on the?
I mean, corruption is going to run high. There's a lot of people that don't like when handouts are given. So the fact that there are licenses set aside for social equity applicants, people don't like that. So predatory practices are executed. In LA, you would have people going around looking for a social equity applicant to engage them with the financing. And then in 5 years, they would only be employees of said company that they had rights to. So it's going to be predatory. There are people who don't play fair. We've known this since the existence of this nation. I grew up in Oklahoma where we learned about the land run, and the Sooners were literally people who cheated because they felt like, well, we should have more of an advantage. So it's something that is prevalent. It's not going to stop. And it's just kind of something that we have to really figure out how to check legislatively, and for there to be penalties for people who are just knowingly going and taking advantage of people who don't have the training, understanding, or the lawyers or the finances to make sure that they're not making this kind of mistake.
And also, I'll chime in. I know that in the state of New York, they are giving licenses to people that have had cannabis crimes and are coming out of prison that have been in prison for cannabis crimes. And the problem with this is it sounds really cool and it sounds like they're doing the right thing. However, a lot of people that come out of prison, a lot of people that have cannabis crimes and have done time, they don't have the money to cultivate that license. So what I've done and what me and my husband have done has we've met with different members of Congress and Senate to try to figure out a program where we can take these people that are getting the licenses because they do have a cannabis crime and they're also minorities, and match them with another minority that has the means to help them cultivate that license, because it's about partnership here. If you have a like-minded Spanish individual or Black individual or whatever minority they are, and you have an individual that's awarded the license, the first people that should be able to help cultivate that license is people of the same, of the same background, because if that's not going to happen, then big pharma is going to take over those licenses. They're going to cash people out, and then people are going to lose their licenses. So if we don't work together as a community, the programs that they're putting in place are just going to lay dormant.
Thank you for sharing. And I like how you spoke on the fact about corporations and big pharma. And given how small of a percentage Black and brown folk have in the cannabis industry, it's important for partnership and collaboration rather than competition between us. So how can we advance and work together to win in the face of these big-pocketed multi-state operators and corporations?
I feel that honestly, with everyone here, we should all be networking, because collaboration is better than competition. There's enough money in this industry that we can all make money together. So really, when you put it into a competitive situation, it actually brings us back to square one. So I encourage everyone here to network, take everyone's number. You don't know what someone else does in cannabis. Everyone's thinking outside the box. There's different sides of cannabis. I'm a brand. She has a license. How about this? Why don't we put my brand to your license so that you have a big brand that I do tons of marketing so that you can sell product when you have your dispensary? Because a lot of people are fighting over these licenses, but when they get them, they can't sell bud. You know what I'm saying? Because if Gumbo's in your city and you own a dispensary, you ain't really selling what I'm selling. You know what I mean? So it's about collaboration so that I can get with her and say, hey, my brand is popular. It's smoking. You know what I mean? So why don't we do something together so that you can distribute my product? Or, we're with cookies. In each state that we're with cookies, we are able to go in and pick our partners who actually cultivate our bud. And it's up to us to go to people that are in our communities that have the cultivation license and pick them. And, they have to know what they're doing, and because it's quality control when it comes to gumbo. But, we do look at our own first, period.
Yeah, I mean, you make a great point. I hear so many people from different states. I want to be the best, But if we could be the best together, like to your point, I like to think of the LVMH model, which if you look at Louis Vuitton, Moet, all of those big brands, they're one conglomerate and they share their services. So you have one purchaser, one legal department, and the houses are just allowed to be their creative self. So if we could even come together like that and create our own LVMH model for our community within cannabis and share those services and empower one another, that way we all have one purchaser, one legal services, and then we can just operate our own creative houses and be successful in what we know how to do. So that's one of the solutions that I think that we could probably really think about and work towards together.
And when looking at your resources, make sure that you look out at all the resources that you have. Look at your churches, look at your neighbors, speak with your elders, speak with your grandparents, speak with your friends' parents, because using the networks that are already existing is a whole different category for you. And then what takes place as well, you're getting referrals, or you're working with somebody that's like-minded, where you don't know that you're going into business with a good partner. Having a great partner, a good partner, is something that's most definitely needed, required, not a want. It's a need. It's necessary if you want to be successful.
And when considering partnerships, how does one not fall into a predatory deal and allow themselves to continue true to who they are and why they entered in the industry and continue to push their vision for their business?
Being true to yourself just means waking up every day and know you can go to sleep with yourself. So, I mean, that's automatically where you have to start at. You got to know your worth. And that's been our hashtag, our Acre 41 claim to fame right there, is knowing your worth. So if you know your worth, then you're going to take the time. You're going to take the education that's needed. As long as you have business skills, and that's the biggest thing that's missing from this industry. I've been in the industry for 12 years. What's been missing is a business plan. And the reason why is because they see that the product, it's a drug, it's marijuana, whatever the case was, right? And they don't want to think that any business has to be done to it. If you have to think about it, evolution takes place. 12 years ago, when I first started out with products came with, actually, you see the trim in the weed. Now we're all the way up to where then I went to distillate, the butters, and now we're up to, solventless. We're up to just the different levels of what's taking place. So it's all about evolution. You got to make sure that you're doing your research. If you're not doing your research and doing your due diligence, then that's shame on you. Because all then you're getting is somebody else telling you what their perspective, what their idea of what's being actually taught to them.
I think that if you're in business in general, you have to read all your own contracts. You know what I mean? And if you don't know how to read a contract, you need to sit down with someone that can help you read your contract. My lawyer's sitting right here filming me right now. Lawyer up. Make sure you get a good accountant. You know what I mean? It's business 101. There's nothing different with this business than any business. You know what I mean? And you have to treat it like a business. The reason why gumbo is in the position it's in is because we treated gumbo like a business. It wasn't just a hustle, and we scaled our business. You know what I mean? So you have to educate yourself, and you have to have good people behind you that believe in your product, believe in you, but also are equipped to back you up when you need it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Triple check, double and triple check everything. I'm a brand in the space, and I've definitely had brands. We discuss one thing, and then they email me the contract, and they throw things in there, and they have no consent. And then they're saying, well, you signed it. No, actually, I did go to grad school, but a lot of people are like, well, I signed it, I have to go forth with it, when really there's a lot of steps that are required before a contract can even be, it could be void or voidable, and you're not even aware. So humble yourself. Don't assume that you're the smartest. Get smarter people than you. If you're good at cultivating, be the expert in that, but make sure everybody else around you is smarter than you in that area. So I think that's one of the biggest tips that I could give.
And we are in Sin City, and want to talk about Nevada's social equity program that they're launching next month. So they're going to be giving out consumption lounge licenses, 10 of which that are earmarked to social equity license applicants, but only 30 groups ended up applying. So why do you think there were so few applicants in this round? And do you think the lottery is the correct format to achieve equity in the industry?
Lottery is not a proven format at anything. I mean, just think about it. You're hoping, you're giving it, like a lottery isn't it out at all. What they need to do is they actually need to make it to where they're putting out applications that are actually getting scored the way that they need to be scored. So more something that's substantive. What they're doing right now, what you're putting in, they're letting you upload basically like in Arizona for the social equity program. You don't even need an address to apply. What business do you know that you could start and don't have an address to apply at? So if you think about it, if you're coming in as a business owner or social equity applicant, you think you're getting ahead of the game. How are you getting ahead of the game? And you're not even starting off with a business location.
Las Vegas. I mean, I'm half Italian, so I'm gonna leave it there. I don't get involved in Las Vegas business.
Personally, I don't have hope in any legislator in this nation on getting anything correct when it comes to cannabis.
That's right.
Do I think they're going to fumble this one? Yes.
What makes it worse, though, because I'll say the legislators, the Congress, they could get stuff right when they want to get it right. When it comes down to that social equity, if you look at the numbers that's being awarded, our numbers are the lowest. Arizona, how'd you come up with 26 licenses that you want to give out for social equity when there were actually so many different tests that were ran? The ACLU ran tests on Arizona, and it showed to where people of color, Black people, Mexicans, they're getting more time, harsher punishments for the same thing the white person was. And then what people fail to realize, social equity isn't a handout. What social equity basically really is all the people, Black, brown, white, purple, that have went to jail for the same thing that these billionaires are getting paid from. It's the government's loophole on saying, hey, you went to jail, but we gave you an opportunity to apply for a license. Here goes a license. Hopefully, really, we're not making it to where you obtain a license. Exactly. They're selling you a dream. So that's the sad part about it when it comes down to it. Do I think any social equity program will be good? No, only because it empowers Black and brown people. And they don't want to see that because they know what happens when Black and brown people get educated and we lock in together, we rise. And they don't want to see that. That's just been the way that the government of the world has been based off of. They don't want to see us get together and rise.
And you mentioned the generational impact of prohibition on low-income communities, mostly Black and brown folks. And that's had a devastating impact on communities all across the country that is still seen to this day. So can you speak about any community-based programs or services y'all envision that is needed in these communities, other than licensing and economic opportunities, of course, to repair the war on drugs that is effects we see today?
One of the things would be expungements, just like how you guys deal with. We did that in Arizona. Giving an individual an expungement on their record that claims their record, it gives them a chance, an opportunity to live a regular life. You can now go, if you weren't on services, not saying that that's what the goal is, now you could actually get help. If you want to go to college, guess what? Now you can actually apply for a scholarship. I mean, for financial aid, not a scholarship, to where you get grant money. So to me, it's just giving, think about your employment, your background checks. So to me, it's just a big thing. Think about all these MSOs out here, multi-state operators that are getting millions and millions of dollars that aren't giving back like the Gumbo brand is giving back. What are they doing with that money? In Arizona, our cultivations that are 2012, they run as nonprofits, not for profits. Are you going to tell me that a dispensary isn't making any profit? It's not happening. I think the money that should go into actually rebuilding, revitalizing these disproportionately affected areas, where the war on drugs is taking place. That's how we got to where we're at right now. So go back into them communities. We could also go back into those communities and help with the mental problems. Why don't we help with opioids? Why don't we help with just different things with the homeless, the veterans? There's a lot of different things that we could be doing with the money instead of investing in the money back into the police department, which that's where the majority of the money goes to with these social equity programs. And all they do is police their people to get out there and arrest more people for smoking marijuana. We got to keep it fair, and that's not what's happening. It's not being reciprocated.
And even in legal markets, you still see the criminalization of individuals that are in the legacy market. Actually, today, about 4 or 5 hours ago, the Office of Cannabis Management in New York carried out the first enforcement and arrest of folks that are operating illegal shops in Brooklyn. So they did that in tandem with the New York City Sheriff's Department and the NYPD. So do y'all think continuing to lock folks up is the solution for unregulated stores?
So here's what happened when you arrest somebody for a cannabis charge, because the mass incarceration and the war on drugs is really it's a war on cannabis. So when somebody gets arrested, you get to then legally kidnap them. When they get out, they are barred from certain employment, from voting, from housing, from education, from loans, from jobs. How are they supposed to survive? And then you get to put them back in jail for not having a job, just like back in the day when we got rid of slave labor and we went into convict leasing. So you're not only ruining their life by putting them in jail, they're fucked for the rest of their life. And you've messed up the next generation in their family, and you're taking parents out of the home for cannabis, and now you're legally selling it in the state, and you're telling me that what you're doing is okay, but what they're doing is not okay. And the people that are now being arrested after legalization are still Black and brown people. Like, what is going on? This is not okay. We need to do something about mass incarceration. And what they're doing is, instead of locking people up, you're now going to be able to sit in your home and be locked up because they've turned your home into a digital jail, which now they save so much on overhead. They don't have to worry about bills and cots and none of that. They make so much more money now. So reform that. I think that's the biggest thing, is social justice reform needs to come in the form of that, because it's the living as a second-class citizen for the rest of your life, and that number is greater than the number of people during the Jim Crow era. That's the issue.
And also, too, we have to get rid of these we have to expunge the felonies from people's records that have cannabis crimes, because at the end of the day, these people can't get jobs. Me and my husband, what we do is we go into Harlem and different parts of New York, and we pay for people's certificate so that they can work jobs in construction. That's all we can do to help these people get jobs. They don't even have the money to pay for their certification to get a job in construction. And a job in construction is wear and tear. It's not the best thing, you know what I mean? But that's what we do, because we just want to see our community get back on its feet and be able to bring money into their homes. You know, inflation is crazy right now, and our people don't have jobs. Our kids are in the streets, they're in gangs, they're robbing everybody because there's nowhere for them to work. You go into the local Starbucks, it's people 30 and 40 years old behind the counter. When we were kids, the kids in the community ran those type of operations. McDonald's, your grocery store. You go in there now, there's 30 and 40-year-old people there. The lack of jobs is already crazy. But then they have felony crimes for a cannabis conviction and can't get a job anywhere. But people are making millions of dollars. So all we can do is do what we can. We try to find loopholes. We try to, fund people for different programs so that they can, get jobs. That's the biggest complaint that we get when we go talk to the youth. We talk to a lot of people from high schools. The high school kids are like, Miss Gumbo, I want to work, but I applied at Starbucks. I applied at Sephora. I applied at all these places. They're not hiring us. You know what I mean? So we have to do better overall. The system is not for us to evolve at all. And then when you have a cannabis crime, it's worse.
And shifting gears to the federal government, we all know that Biden made a pardon for nonviolent or those that possess cannabis in the federal system, but no one was actually in prison, so it didn't really affect anybody. So what do you think should be the priorities for the federal government? Should it be descheduling? Should it be what type of things you'd like to see at the federal level?
Ideally, we want to deschedule. If we reschedule, now the FDA gets to approve every single thing on the market, and the entire industry ceases to exist. We don't want second or third. We want it gone. And, as far as Biden, what he did, unfortunately, he made history, and he had to do the bare minimum to make history. And that's because we've done nothing. So he gets that win. And that's just the unfortunate truth about it. He didn't release anybody from jail, but that's because he wanted to play to the people in the center and the right. The right can't say he's releasing criminals into the street. But he did expunge a few people's records. But we would like to see more. I mean, take it completely off. Schedule 1 existed for temporary reasons only. It was so that we could do research into this plant and figure out where it's supposed to go. They did the research with the Schaefer Commission, found out it's actually good for you, and Nixon said, nah, fuck this, and threw it away, and it stayed Schedule 1. It was never supposed to stay there. So get it off Schedule 1, treat it like a plant. Ideally, how I'd love to see it is we all realize it's a plant and all of this disappears because it's just a plant and people deserve to have proper access to it. So that's my dream. Federal government completely out. It goes back to just being an herb, and that's that.
Mine would be financial banking for us. Been in the industry for 12 years, and we can't put our money into a bank, right? But you want us to pay the same TPT taxes that are out there. We got all the same expenses of everybody else, but we don't get the same governance. You know, another thing, insurance, 280E. I mean, there's a whole list of things that we go down. We don't get the same insurance. If our building locks down, caps to catch on fire, blow up, none of our product is covered. The structure might be, but all of our product isn't. The product costs us money. The product is what's going to get us to the next level. That's our uptake. That's our growth. But we're not covered under that. So we need the same basic ideas, options that these other businesses have, because we're a real business. They don't want to accept that real business.
Also, you know, Redman said it the best. Back in the day, 15 years ago, Walgreens started to grow to get ready for prohibition and for where we're at now, right? So that's why they're not letting us put money in the bank, because if we put money in the bank when everything is legit and we're able to do what we want to do, we have the money to go ahead and cultivate our own people's licenses. No. These people already have millions of dollars and they have all the resources waiting for when they make everything legit, they're going to take over. That's just how it's going to go. And guess what? When your boys over on Wall Street find out, then they're going to get even bigger checks. So it just is, the system is meant for us to fail, you know, and we just have to stick together. But also, too, we have to come to conferences like this. I went to the Black Cannabis Conference in New Orleans. It was a ghost town. We all need to get together because there's so many different sides of cannabis. My lawyer's here, my cannabis lawyer. There's a woman here that I'm meeting with on Monday that's an accountant for cannabis. We have to arm ourselves with the right tools so that when this is going up, we're right there in the center ready and we have everything lined out. We got to be smart. We don't have the resources they have, but we do have the brain power together.
I love everything that I'm hearing. We just have a couple minutes here left. So to wrap it up, I wanted to ask each of you, just eloquent speaking, just your presence, would each of you consider running for office in the future? Because our lawmakers have no idea what they're doing. So would each of you run?
Oh, yes. Miserably. And I ran for office and I lost.
And then second part question, why are you so passionate about the plant? To wrap it up.
Why am I so passionate about the plant? I grew up like most people of color in this nation with PTSD. As soon as I went to a predominantly white university, that's when it started to come out. And the plant was the only thing that kept me from getting kicked out of my university. And I helped people all throughout the campus and then professional athletes. So I was always doing what I was supposed to be doing unconsciously. And then one day it kind of like flipped a switch and it was like, oh, I'm going to do this full time. I'm going to advocate. So it was kind of always, I was being pushed in that direction. I just was not aware for at least a decade. But would I ever run for public office? No, that is on my anti-bucket list as number one.
Don't do it. I'm very passionate about this because I used to be an NFL manager agent, and a lot of my guys were getting addicted to opiates. When you see somebody have their life dream and make $60 million, but they're ready to spend it all on Oxycontin and Percocets and things of that nature to kill the pain in their body from a sport, you have to rethink it. So I started finding strains of marijuana that killed the pain in the body. But of course, the NFL gives huge fines for a player testing positive for marijuana, and they will not change it, because a lot of my players, when they would test positive for marijuana, they'd have to pay $3 million. You know, the fines are insane. The more money the player makes, the more that they make them pay. So, and then they put them on a program where they can't smoke cannabis. They get tested every single week. So all they're doing is promoting big pharma and having these guys take opiates, because I know a lot of players, and they will stay unnamed. I ran into a guy that I know that had $120 million contract where I'm from. And I ran into him. He was at Starbucks. So I said to him, I said, hey, oh man, that's just so dope. In our hood, you own a Starbucks? And he said, no, I work here. And I said, hold on, wait a minute. You played for the Boston Celtics. Like, I know your contract. You 120 million. He said, I became a heroin addict. After they wouldn't give me opiates anymore and it was regulated, I still had to have that high. And I lost all that money. And my truth, the reason why I'm telling you this is because in my sobriety, I have to tell my truth. And as people, we judge, damn, what'd he do with that 120 million? He bought drugs with it because there was no outlet for him to do anything else. And if he did smoke cannabis, he was going to lose money. And sometimes money, when you're in something, supersedes your intelligence of what you should really do. You should take that $2 million fine. Guess what? Because you're stopping yourself from getting into a worldwide of trouble later down the line. So, yeah.
Last word, Celeste.
Would I run for politics? That's a hell no. Too much politics. That's in it. You mean blatantly? A lot of lying, a lot of being a puppet, and I'm far from that. That'll never happen. My passion for this is really when I was in the dispensary, seeing the lives that I'm changing as far as on the patients that I came in. I've had patients that came in where her first time actually coming to visit, the old lady had a seizure in the chair. She had her skin, white lady, looked blacker than the blackest person that she knew because her blood wasn't flowing through her skin. I hooked her up with a CBD company that I knew. Then her problem was she was allergic to everything. I had to make her a special salve. She put that on and she turned white again. Her blood started flowing again. She had an open sore on her foot that was about this big for about 13 years. With the CBD on it, it actually killed what was going on and closed that hole up. Doctor told her, whatever you do and keep on doing it because I couldn't have done that for you. So that's where my passion came in, seeing the lives that's being changed. And one of the things I used to do at the retail is I'd have people that would come in that would be hard on heroin, I'm hard on glass or something like that, being in Arizona. What I would do is when dispensaries come in, they come in and give us samples. All my samples, they go to my patients. I give some out to my patient advisors, they get the same thing. Do you want to donate your samples? When that hard person comes in, I can't afford this, I can't afford that, but I need it. Don't worry about it. I got a sample back here for you. So it was just seeing the lives that I was changing was what made me so passionate about where I'm at right now.
Also, I want to say one more thing. One of the reasons why I've been giving out the pens of gumbo from the gumbo shop, www.thegumboshop.com. The reason why I've been giving them out and the reason why we developed them is because a lot of people, when they are released from prison and they're going through their program and they still have to check in and all these things, they can't smoke marijuana, right? They're going to be violated. A lot of these kids are starting to smoke things like K2. You know what I mean? To get them high. We can't have this. These things are frying these kids' brains. But we can have CBD products that are undetected and not tested for. And that can help people that do smoke marijuana get through that time. You know what I mean? Because we can't have these kids going into drugs that are synthetics, that are going to ruin their life.
Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you so much. Again, my name is Juan, like marijuana. Thank you for joining us today. And shout out Hayes.
Thank
putting
you,
this
Hayes.
whole
Thank
village
you,
together.
Hayes. Thank you so much.
You're the man, brother.
Thank you.
Mil gracias.
Check. Check, check.
Check, check.
Check, check, check.
Check, check, check.
I need a check.
Check, 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 check. Check, check, check. Ready? Check, check. All right, peace, love, and light. My name is Manji Reverie, and I'm excited to be sitting here amongst what I'm gonna consider some superheroes in the cannabis industry. We're having a panel and a conversation about beating the odds, kind of from legacy to legal. So I'm a radio personality. I'm based out of Denver, Colorado. I'm originally from Brooklyn. This is a conversation that is near and dear to me because I also am a legacy operator. So sitting on the panel with these gentlemen to have this conversation was super important so people understand just the crazy dynamics that we're still dealing with. And in your cases, legal. So can everybody introduce themselves and just a quick backstory on who you are? And then we'll kick this off.
Bet I'll go first. Dante West from Stockton, California. And I was incarcerated for marijuana about 1 year and 6 months ago. So now I'm here. Got 2 licenses, New Jersey and Stockton, California, my home city. So God is good. And my out day was 2025, but I'm here today with y'all. So let's go.
Amen, amen to that. I'm Jason Washington, originally from Oakland, California. I was indicted, raided by the feds out of the state of Montana as I was playing football up there in 2011. I went to trial, fought them, and ended up going to do some federal time. Came home in 2014, been back in legal cannabis since. My company, Culture, we specialize in partnering with license holders in emerging markets by providing legacy operators to run those assets for them.
Cool. First of all, I want to say thank you to Hayes, Black Cannabis Magazine, BIzcon for giving us this platform. My name is Hasim Robinson. I'm one of the co-founders of Winter Circle Genetics. We're a vertically integrated cannabis company here in LA. We got cultivation, dispensaries, we breed. We dropped some pretty amazing things here in the last year in the cannabis industry, but I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. All right, like I said, we got some superstars on the panel. I was blessed enough not to end up in any situations where I had legal problems, and you guys have kind of claimed your fame because that's exactly what put you all in these predicaments. I know somebody has done federal time, which is crazy on another level, and you've been exonerated. In your opinion, at this point in time, with the whole market switching from the legacy to the legal side, what do you think has been the hardest thing for you guys to overcome, having these charges and this history, this back history kind of looming over your backgrounds?
I think for me, you know, just kind of beating the odds like how this panel is today and being able to, you know, go in and, you know, when everybody say you can't do it, you go in and you buckle down and do it. And that's kind of like what I learned in prison. You know, you kind of sit down and be consistent and work hard. And I think your fruits of your labor is show. So that's how I got out of prison. And that's the same energy I apply, you know, with kind of writing these apps, man, and getting down there and reading regulations and figuring out what does it take to qualify. So, you know, individuals like us, man, it's just beautiful to how prison for something and you can just be here today, you know, and be ready to go. So, you know, God is good. And I know these people can attest to that, especially Jason.
No, absolutely. And the second that, for me, the barrier of entry has been very difficult because my charges are federal and they're out of the state of Montana. And because of that, I've been barred from participating in any equity program in the country until Denver has just announced. In I think New Jersey has a equity program where your charges don't have to be from that jurisdiction. And so I haven't been able to participate from a license standpoint until now, hence the reason why my company Culture has just been a full service cannabis agency where we've had to partner on every other project that we've done. And so now to have the opportunity that the state of Colorado has presented to actually get another license in my own name is something that I'm looking forward to really pushing through. And like Dante said, it just really comes down to the perseverance and the things you really learn in jail. You got to stand up in there every day and look yourself in the mirror, and either you're going to get swallowed up or you're going to push through and make it out and make it home. So those same principles apply in everyday life. It's just different circumstances and different, you know, kind of energies and risks that we take. But it's something that it teaches you that you when you go through those things, you can really put your mind to and get through anything.
Yeah, I like that. You know, just the cannabis industry period is difficult. So besides the obstacles that these brothers have been able to overcome, I mean, you're dealing with, you know, MSOs, you're dealing with the cost of getting licenses. So, you know, I tip my hat to both of them for being able to overcome what they have and still be able to compete in this industry.
Okay, gentlemen. Even with expungements, it's still a very difficult process to be able to even jump from a legacy situation to a legal. What conversations do you feel like we need to be having with lawmakers and the people that are actually building these different markets to help us along in this situation?
Yeah, that's for sure. I think as you guys, wherever state you guys from, and I think it's really important that you tell your legislator that you want automatic expungement. You know, you don't want people going through the hoops, trying to file paperwork, get an attorney, and do all that, man. It's just too difficult. If you lobby a legislator for automatic expungement, like we did in Missouri, where I'm working at now, it is be way easier for the people that get out of prison. So when they get in, you know, they apply at a job. Even when I applied, even though I got exonerated, you know, my record still showed up. It still showed up. I was a felon, you know, distributing marijuana. So when I had to dig deep into the case, I had to give them my dismissal, you know, and show them that I was all the way, you know, I was able to be in the cannabis industry. So, you know, I think that's the biggest thing, man. Whatever your legislator is, make sure they implement automatic record expungement.
I second that. I think that, you know, the record expungement on a state level is very important. On the federal side, unfortunately for a lot of my federal brothers, and there's a couple of them out here in the audience that I did time with, we don't have that same luxury. But, you know, it's one foot in front of the other. So if it can happen on the state side, that's very important. But the biggest thing is seeing some federal change so we can really participate, because a lot of the top talent is sitting on the sidelines and we barred from participating, but we really the ones that put this on our back when served a lot of time and was away from our families for a lot of people to now make a lot of legal money. So we was in this when it wasn't so cool and when it wasn't so protected and cushy, and it was a little more dangerous. And so now it's time to you know, really kind of pay homage to that. And a lot of MSOs and people forget that 2 years ago they might have been an accountant and now they a CEO of a weed company because that's cool. Well, we was doing this to feed our families when it wasn't cool. So now how do you include those people to participate in this industry? Because none of this whole conference that you guys see would be here today if it wasn't for the people that really, you know, sacrificed and
took the risk.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And you know, put it all on the line. And it's a lot of brothers still down in jail right now for the same things that every one of y'all is doing up in here. And it's, you know, that part of it is not cool.
Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely think there needs to be an open line of communication to kind of help develop these programs for expungement and just social equity so that, you know, the people who are affected by these laws can really be a part of helping fix the wrongs.
Hasim, so I have a question for you. Weed Street, you founded a tech startup company, and I think that's super dope. All three of these gentlemen have kind of gone different routes. You have a podcast that's extremely popular. I want to hear more about how you went about doing the Winner Circle Genetics, how you chose what part of the industry you wanted to kind of be an expert in.
I mean, it just, you know, I got a lot of years experience in the cannabis space. So it just came down to, you know, me looking at the game and saying, you know, what really differentiates these companies. And to me, it comes down to genetics. You know, it comes down to, you know, the flavors and what you're bringing to the table. You know, a lot of these companies, and no disrespect to anybody, but are all selling the same flower and white labeling from all these other businesses. So to be able to really come with something different and something we create and our intellectual property and own it is how we try to position ourselves in this space.
I think it's an amazing thing that not too many people step into. Like you said, the legacy part of it is kind of the streets. So that's the part that we were all used to. This is how we paid our bills, fed our kids, you know. Everybody is stepping into a different type of situation. Tell me about culture, Jason. I want a little bit more information because I like the fact that you're only going to be doing business with people that are already legacy operators.
Yeah, so one of the foundational parts of culture when I put that together from an agency standpoint is in order to be a part of my organization, you had to have been in the business for 10 years or more. If you've been in for 10 years or more, that means you didn't operate in some black and gray areas. And that means we speak the same language. So
No soccer moms, huh?
I ain't gonna be able to do it. So if you ain't been around and took some of the same risks that I didn't have to take, we just really not speaking the same language. Now, so that's on one half of the business. Because we are barred from participating on the other half, we have no choice but to partner with business people and those folks in emerging U.S. and now global markets. We got our first dispensary open in Barbados, by the way, first medical on an island in the Caribbean.
Congratulations.
So, but we've had to partner with those people. And I think it's been, thus far, it's been a good marriage because we've been able to bring the expertise and I've been able to uplift some of the people that have gone through a lot of the challenges that I've experienced myself and partner them with the money and the assets and the capital in order to build some of the most efficient producing facilities in the markets where we participate.
Dante, Last Prisoner Project. I don't think there's anybody in this room that has not heard about that situation. Tell me a little bit more about how you got involved in that, the whys. What do you feel like?
Yeah, you know, I've been with the Last Prisoner Project for a while. I know a lot of people got different thoughts about it, but one thing I could say about them, man, every time I needed them, they was there for me. But yeah, I got connected with them, you know, as soon as I got out of prison and I had filed a motion and I had won that motion to get back home. They still wanted to retry my case. You know, the DA still wanted to give me, you know, wanted me to sit down and go back to trial. If I didn't take a felony, then he was going to send me back to trial, but I refused to take a felony. I remember I was in prison and I heard Van Jones say, you know, felony is a new way of them calling you the N-word. You know what I mean? So it just made me sit back and think like I'm going to fight for true freedom. And I really knew like if I went back to my town in Stockton, California, that I'd be living in the hood again because when you got a felony, man, you got certain housing, you know, you can't get loans, you can't vote. I mean, it's just so much restriction, man. So you kind of set up for failure again, you know. So I told him I was going to take him down and I met Last Prisoner Project and, you know, they offered to donate a bunch of money to my lawyer. They said I'll hire you the best lawyer in the state. But I declined their offer and I said I would just use the public defender because the public defender got me out of prison already. Man, it was able to negotiate a full dismissal on my case. So it was good. But now I get to work with the organization. For you guys not know that we got a guy named like Kevin Allen that's in prison. He's in Louisiana. He's serving a life sentence for $20 worth of marijuana. You know, and if you guys take the time today, our booth is right next to Dutchie's. Just write them a letter. It's the holidays. And what I could say more than anything, man, is, man, and Jason, know, man, a letter in prison is so important. You know what I mean? I remember I used to get a letter in a bunk, didn't even know who it was, and just put it on the bunk and then wait till 11 o'clock at night when all the lights was dim, you know, just to kind of escape prison. So, you know, that's what it is. That's how I got connected with him.
All right, this question is for all three of you gentlemen. Paint a perfect picture of what legacy to legal would look like for our future generations, for people that are legacy now that are wanting to go into the legal market. Ideally, what do you think that would look like?
I'll go. What I think it looks like is it looks like this. It looks like brothers like this making foundations and platforms for people to move from the legacy space to the shelf. And this is what it looks like. It takes, you know, companies like his company and somebody getting motivated by him and inspired by him to start their own company like that somewhere else, so that, you know, we can educate people from switching over markets, because it's a totally different market. The legacy market and the white market is totally different. So even though you've had success in the legacy market, there's going to be some bumps and bruises. So I think that's why foundations like what he has and businesses like he has is what it's going to look like.
And to second that, second Hasim's point is operating a facility in a compliant manner and selling cannabis in a compliant manner is night into completely two different languages, from the legacy to from the old way to the new way. And the biggest thing is just us helping each other. By us being on this panel right now today, Hazy don't even know this, but we put together a collaboration in the back. We working on a project in Missouri. I didn't even know. I didn't know D was in. So it all just came full circle. But the important part is us working together and keeping that knowledge and that lineage, genetic base of everything we do from the ground up to the end result. And if we can do that, we can help each other. That's what keeps us ahead of the curve. We already the trendsetters. The reason I named my company Culture with the K is because we is the culture. This is what we do. Everybody mocks it around the globe. When I say around the globe, I've been in the last 6 months, I've probably been in 35 countries. Everybody looks to what we do in cannabis, American cannabis, and Black American cannabis for the trendsetters of what's coming next. So as long as we can continue to work together and build together and not infight and leave all the jealousy, and if we win together, there's plenty of money for everybody to win. We just got to win together and work together and capitalize on everybody's skill set. And then we can have a seat and we can compete with these MSOs and these bigger major funded companies. And we can really carve out our piece of this, because it should be a bigger piece than it is right now.
Yeah, definitely. Like Jason said, man, just being included into the opportunity, whether it be financing, whether it be operational, whether it be any type of skill, is huge. You know, getting those people out of prison. You know, I helped a guy get out early that was locked up with me in Kansas. He was, you know, incarcerated in New Jersey, man. Now he works at a SIN, you know, as a cultivation tech on probation, though, in Kansas, on Kansas probation. You know, so it's just crazy getting those people out of prison and giving them the education. And maybe they won't resort back to something that'll jeopardize their freedom, because now they can do it legally. You know, we got this giant conference out here. You know what I mean? Now they're going to be having job fairs for cannabis people. You know, shout out to 40 Tons. You know, they do that. So I think that's super important, getting the people out of prison and giving them opportunity. You know, you don't need no master's degree in weed. You just got to have a hustle, you know, have some knowledge and work hard, because it's not an easy game.
All right. So how are you guys using your life experiences to pay it forward to who's next? You know, I know each one of you comes in very differently. You know, one does genetics, which is not something that we see too often. Like he said, he's one of the only Black-owned businesses in the country, right? In the country.
I mean, there's some other of us out there. You're about to see Felix from Gas House coming up next. So
okay,
there's a sprinkle of us out here.
But it's a sprinkle is not enough. You know, like you said, I think there's a big group of us that are just sitting in this booth, and there's a whole convention that's around us. And I feel like this is the first year I've ever even seen anything that's diversity. So I love that we're having this conversation.
I've been coming to BIzcon for 5 years. It's the most color I've ever seen at BIzcon.
Right?
It's good to see it too.
But it feels good to see it, because again, I think that the more that we're educated in these different fields and we network with each other, we see each other in a lot of these different spaces. Again, what are you doing to pay it forward?
I mean, just giving out information, giving out free game, mentoring people, people DM me, ask me questions. I answer everything. Like, I'm open to, bringing people with us, you know what I mean? And that's just really how I do it. It's just, try to give back that way.
One of the ways we are pushing this forward is on the island of Barbados. A lot of people don't know this, but there's a huge local cultivation scene, and they send you to prison the same way they send us to prison. And so there's no equity program, but because we down there in charge of the operations, we have our own equity program. So I'm trying to only hire people that have former cannabis convictions on the island, or a family member of, if their father is locked up, some sort of connection to it. Not saying all of our employees are going to be able to meet that criteria, but at least we're trying to incorporate our own equity program when the government on that island is not doing that. So, and it's up to our discretion of who we want to hire. And so that's why we're able to do that. And just, as an inclusion piece. And it's something that I was never given the opportunity to do until Denver just did this thing that they did. But that's one way I'm doing it.
Yeah, for sure. And it's a blessing, man. These guys are giving back. And I had the opportunity to give back in the Midwest, where we're working on. So I got a product in about 100 stores in Kansas City, Missouri, all through the state of Missouri. We're able to white label a brand called West. But every time someone goes up into this dispensary and buys this product, it donates to the commissary account. I remember I was in prison, man, and I was just looking for a soup or, trying to write a letter. I had to write like 100 state reps just to try to get them to agree my clemency. But, I had got caught time with a COVID where people couldn't even come see you. So you got to do video visits. They cost money, $5 for 15 minutes. So all the funds that, majority, about 20% of the funds I allocated to the commissary account for the people that's locked up. And I try to make it state-based. So if I got a white label brand in Missouri, I try to give it to the state prisoners in Missouri so people could feel more homage. One thing I noticed about going to different states like the Southern and California, these people really mess with their people. You know what I mean? So I think that's really important that we kind of pay attention to those people, and it kind of resonates to the people even more, even when they write a letter to a person that's in their home state.
I want to talk a little bit about ancillary businesses. I think everybody that when they hear about the cannabis industry, they only think that it's cultivation and retail, which we know good and damn well that this is an industry like any other industry. That means HR. That means, from the people that plant the dirt in the pot to the people that have to be hired to have knowledge, the bud tenders. Ancillary businesses, I want you guys' opinions or advice. That's better said. Your advice for the people on not just jumping into I need to have this license because of the growing part.
I mean, that's a great question. And we talk about that on our podcast all the time. I'm glad you brought that up. Like, I wouldn't recommend people to hurry up and jump in and get a license because they're going to fail. They don't have the training. They don't have the know-how. So, the ancillary businesses are what I tell people to try to, see if you even like the cannabis space. Whether it's security, whether it's marketing, whether it's collection of data. I mean, there's so many different things you can do and not just try to narrow and have the tunnel vision of, oh, I want to grow the best weed. Because it's going to be difficult in Cali, baby. Try to grow the best weed. It's going to be difficult, especially with the way the market is. But, there's so many other things you can use with the talent. There's so many creatives in our culture that you can bring that into this space. And, it's a very important point, and I'm glad you brought that up. Is just to let people know there's so many other ways into the industry besides just trying to own a dispensary or get a cultivation or try to I'm not telling you don't shoot for the stars, but try another job first to see if you like it.
So we had to get creative with how we were operating and doing things. Bank accounts kept getting shut down, whatnot. So what we did with my team is we took a young group of Black designers in Oakland and we made a clothing brand, and it's called Culture. As an ancillary service, is one more piece into the space. And so everything that we've built with that group has been, one more way for us to have banking, and you can help funnel through things through there. But we've had to to kind of just be on our toes. And what it does is it gives us one more touch point into the industry to explain and show you who we are, and help support us so we can continue to do our mission. So we've just tried to do that from within.
I think it's huge, man. We right here in the land of ancillary products, right? If we look around, you'll see all these companies. None of these people really plant touching. You got people that so many ways you can get into the industry, and you got a question? No, and I mean, and it's just so many ways you can get in. It's so many ways you can get into the industry. And one thing I could take from it is like when you learn about a specific ancillary item, you kind of become that much more good into the industry once you do get your license or cultivation or distribution, because you kind of know the realm of like, oh, wow, what I need. Because a lot of these people that are coming out here shopping have retails, have cultivation. They're looking for this ancillary item at MJ Biz. So, these are gems in here. And I think people should for sure get down here at these conferences, get open.
I mean, you could do packaging. You could do packaging designs. I know a guy who's making, $300,000 a month printing out packaging. So, I mean, there's things you can do.
All right. They said we got to wrap it up. We got a few minutes left. I wanted to talk about the culture part of this. I feel like personally, in my experience, I get irritated when a lot of people come and want us to represent them, their brands, their situations, make their whole thing popular. This is, like you said, it's for the culture. What do you think we could do as our own people, to keep pushing our own people along? I feel like we don't back each other enough in these situations. Like you said, there's very few, there's speckles of people throughout the industry, and it's not a majority of us. What do you think that we could do to help push our own people along?
So I'll give you a real life example that happened. We built a facility and we were operating it for MSO. And originally we were going to get a credit on the back of the bag. Well, when it came time to print that, it ended the relationship and we didn't have a credit on that bag. And so now when I do any sort of collaboration, it's not more for me and less for them. If I do a deal with D and what I sent at Winter Circle, it's a third, it's all equal and it's all inclusive. And so it's very important for everybody to not be like, oh, my brand got to be this. Nah, we doing it together. He can't buy all the weed that I can produce, and I can't buy all the weed. We need all of y'all to also be a unified force so that we can all win together. So it's this inclusion we got to understand we are a minority in this space, but we are a powerful one. And if we work together, we can just become bigger to where they got to give us a seat at the table. And so we just have to, we can't have a crab in a barrel mentality. We got to really work together to just push the ball forward.
All right. I think I lost my mic. Okay. Before we get out of here, tell everybody where they can find you, please. Social medias, websites. And then if there's anybody that you'd want to thank or to recognize while we have this platform. And thank you to Hazy and Black Cannabis Magazine for sure. Because again, this is the first time I've ever been to this convention and seen so many Black and brown people. So I'm very proud to be here today.
Yeah, you guys can follow me on Instagram, Dante West, DONTEWEST, or on the Last Prisoner Project page, Dante West. If you guys know anybody that's incarcerated for marijuana, send them my way. Send me an email. You can find it on that website at lastprisonerproject.org. And what I do is I take the case and I identify the case and see if they're eligible for clemency or they eligible for parole, and I kind of work in a different way. So, yeah, you can find me there. And, yeah, appreciate all you guys coming out, listening to us speak, and we see her from us soon.
I just want to say big thank you to Black Cannabis Magazine, to Hazy for putting all of this together. You see the turnout that we've had this year. I hope next year we need to be in the booth as big as that one over there, because this booth look like it's busier than that one. But I'm just saying. And then you can find me at culture.global. That's across all platforms. JasonDWashington.com, all platforms, Instagram, the whole nine. And thank all you guys for sitting here and listening to us, impart our knowledge on and our experience on all of you. So thank you for everybody for showing up.
I just want to say thank you to Hayes. Thank you to Black Cannabis Magazine. Thank you to BIzcon. like I said, I've been here 5 years in a row, and I haven't seen a booth have as much energy as this booth did. So I know this is just the beginning, but he started something that's going to be incredible. I want to thank everybody for coming. I also want to thank everybody from Winter Circle that came with me. Our Instagram is Winter Circle Genetics on IG. We also have a podcast, the Smoke With Me podcast, and my personal IG is The Real Wolf of Weed Street.
All right, thank you, everybody. That wraps this up. I appreciate you guys. Keep doing your thing.
Now let's go smoke. Let's go.
Yeah, we ready to smoke, baby.
Yes. To talk about partnerships.
I'm just investing. I'm here to support in any way I can. Y'all got me on the perfect panel. You feel me? With my crowd. Won't God do it? Won't God put me next to the back? Look at the Lord.
So tell me.
Mic check, check. Mic check.
Mic check, mic check.
Mic check, mic check.
All right. Hi, everybody. Come over here if you can hear my voice. If you can hear my voice, come over. If you can hear this, come over here. This is the last panel. This is the MVP panel. We're going to close out BIzcon with Black Cannabis Magazine. So please show up to show out and come over here and listen to what we've got to say. All right. Welcome and thank you all for being here. Today, we are speaking about the most valuable partnership and what that's been like for these incredible people sitting up here with me today. So let's just get right into it because I know we're all hungry and we're all ready to go. It's been a long 2 fucking days.
I'm just ready to get high.
All right. So please introduce each of yourselves and tell everyone, give yourselves a couple minutes quickly to introduce yourselves. And then we will start with some more questions.
You know what? Because I'm the younger OG, I'm going to let OG Unk to the right of me go first because I'm actually such a fan.
All right. I'm J.O., better known as Mr. Exotic. You feel me?
Hold the mic up. Just hold it to you.
Okay. So, give you a little background. I started off with cookies. You know what I mean? I'm the first Cannabis Club to sell Girl Scout cookies, sherbet, pink panties. We renamed it. It was called Pink Pussy. And then my wife came in and said we can't have that on the board. So it became Pink Panties. Helped pick out sherbet. Did the eye vapes, the trippy sticks. We've been a cornerstone of the platform to what we now have exotics and a range of different cannabis products. Went on to that to do runts, some pink runts, now riddles, nerds, about 32 other strains. We come from San Francisco all the way to Miami to Detroit. You feel me? So that's me in a nutshell.
My name is Everett Smith. I own a company called Presidential. This actually, 2022, we've had our brand in the market in LA for 10 years now. So I'm proud of that. But we make moon rocks. I know moon rocks get a bad name, but I try to go around and source quality flower and make bomb moon rocks. So take some of your favorite grower strains and enhance them, make them better. According to BDSA, which I think this is good for the culture and good for us as Black folks. According to BDSA, Presidential, we're the 4th largest pre-roll brand in the country. So, proud of that. But yeah.
Well, thank you, OG, to the right of me. I'm such a fan. I'm talking about, I started off as a grower. My name is Sahir Al-Salam. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. I am owner of Detroit Life Lounge, partnered in Michigan Agricultural Services, which is a grow and processing in Inkster, Michigan, 20 minutes outside of Detroit. And I just bought a green zone property with 3 buildings in Detroit, which I'm getting ready to license. So, and also I am Ease Momentum's one of their 10 companies that won this year's cohort. So I've been a busy bee, but very much so a fan of the industry. And I started off as being a grower. So all of these great things started off from me just being in the basement, growing a plant and just choosing otherwise along the way as I kept continuing to move up. So shout out to people like Jay. We love people like him who give us flavor in the industry and options, you know what I'm saying, to be so satisfied with in our taste buds.
Love it. If you guys were here earlier, you were here for the exhibit and the Red Man, and he said something that really stuck out to me that I was like, I'm going to take that and I'm going to use that in my panel. He said that it's about relationships when it comes to partnerships. So I'd like each of you to answer, what's the biggest or most common misconception that you feel people have about partnerships when it comes to your brand?
Number one, that we can't work with each other, right? It's a lot of us who have put in a lot of work, right? Like Jay, like me, and a lot of other people that sit next to you. And all you got to do is make a phone call and, continuously have the conversations, the proper conversations about the right business, right? And have those follow-up conversations until you meet your goal. Always set a goal, always set a deadline, always stay consistent with whoever you're trying to build a relationship with. So they think we can't do that. But Hayes is showing us that it's very much so possible in a very big way.
Jay?
Man, I would say to actually pick your business partner out that you can deal with.
Say that louder.
You have to deal with your business partner. You just can't go into business with anyone. It's not a fit. You got to find a person who either they're complete opposite or completely like you. So it could be a contrast or addition. And don't be afraid to really go search for what you want. A lot of people settle in this game. Like, oh, I'll never do this, or I'll never do that, or I'll just do this just to momentarily get a bit of fame. It's longevity. That's what I learned in this game. You go anywhere, and in my brand, it stands for quality. So you ain't gonna find somebody in the house like, oh, that was some bullshit. Nah, you don't find that because I stand for quality. I may not be the biggest, I may not be one of them well known, but
nah, you well known, bro.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll be modest. I'll be modest about it. But if you know,
you're a little too humble.
If you know, you know. They'll say you put J on a brown brassy brag, and it's gonna sell because it's J.O. Some people can't have that. You have that because you stand for something, and that's the most important thing. When you pick a partner, you and your partner got to stand for something, believe in the same goal, and make it happen.
Yes, Everett?
I'm gonna have to piggyback off what he said. So a misconception is that just because you guys do something similar to each other, that they're gonna hold your product to the same quality, or you guys have the same synergies. Your synergies align. Like you said, you have to vet your partner. You got to pick somebody that makes sure that you guys are going in the same direction. you know, I've had horror stories in terms of partnerships, you know, where one of the biggest brands out right now has been spawned from a bad partnership with me. So definitely, just because y'all are doing the same thing or a similar thing does not mean that, you know, they hold the same values for you, same quality, same, you know, goals. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, and going into that, you know, not to cause anybody any trauma while we're here, but what were the red flags, Everett, that you saw that you know that you're going to look for next time? Like, what's something that you would say that was definitely a red flag that you may have been like, oh, I'm going to give them the benefit of a doubt, maybe it'll be okay, and then you were like, wow, I wish I really didn't do that. And that could be anybody. It doesn't have to be the main one.
I mean, the biggest red flag was when they called me in their office and asked me how to infuse pre-rolls like I do. You know, that was the biggest red flag. That's when we started to play chess and started making moves to get away from them. But
coming after your intellectual property.
Absolutely. Protect your intellectual property. Make sure your contracts are tight. Make sure if you do have intellectual property like us, we have our infusion process is what makes our product special. So now we, in our contracts with people, we make sure that our room is separated with no cameras, closed off, so we can do what we need to do. We learned that the hard way. We believe they took stuff from the cameras and figured things out, and you know, so definitely make sure you tighten everything up. Make sure you cross all your T's, dot all your I's. It's, you know, you could be a little paranoid, but you're protecting your brand, especially for somebody like him who has genetics and he grows fire. Like, you don't want that just, you know, everybody to know that, you know. So, and the way we infuse things, you know, so that's what I would say.
Good. Do you either of you have a horror story red flag you'd like to share?
I tell you, my biggest red flag, we had a business partner that didn't smoke.
You had a business partner that didn't smoke.
So I'm like, how do you know it's good? Why do you want to be in this business? What do you get out this business? You don't even smoke. So you don't care about the product, do you? That's a red flag for me. And then horror stories go. I've had many of those.
We ain't got time.
Oh, man.
See, man, my partner don't smoke, but we've been together for 10 years, and
You
he got
smoke,
me.
right?
Yeah, no,
There
I
you
only
go.
smoke my shit. Yeah,
You,
so,
you got to
yeah,
have somebody
absolutely.
like,
yeah,
is this good or not?
Right.
If they don't know nothing about the game and they've never been involved in the game, I kind of question, why do you want to be in the game? You know, we come from the old school, so I mean, you're the police,
right?
You're the feds. I mean, what are you?
Absolutely,
Because you were hanging around and you're not doing nothing,
right?
Hey, that's Uncle Jay for y'all. He don't play no game. So for me, the biggest red flag is a person who's trying to do everything right and play all positions. Picking a partner is knowing a good partner who's good at what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Just good at what you do. If you go be the lawyer, if you go be the grower, if you go be the marketing person, you know, don't be the marketing person trying to tell the lawyer what to do, or in meetings talking like you're the lawyer if you're the marketing person, right? Picking a good partner is just really picking somebody who's good at what they're doing and love to do what they're doing without trying to do everything. Sometimes doing everything can kind of spill over into other, you know, sections of the business that we all shouldn't be, right? Play your part. Building a good team is really playing your part. So, you know,
I love that.
I'll leave my horror stories on the shelf for now. For
yeah,
real.
that'll be next year. We'll have a special panel just for that.
They might kick us off the panel if we tell our horror stories.
No, they'll be good. They'll be good. Well, so let's make it lighter. What are some of the best things that you've had come out of partnerships in the past few years, definitely since the pandemic? What are some, tell us something good that's a green flag that's come up for you that you've just been like, okay, I'm so glad that this is my partner.
One word from me: consistency. Having a consistent partner means everything. Whether the sun is out, the moon is up, the stars, whatever, if you putting in that work consistently, right, and we're keeping up with each other, you have to find a partner that can keep up with you. But that consistent partner, that's the greenest flag ever, because even if you get it wrong sometime, at least you go be back the next day to try it again, to try and get it right. You know, so consistency is key in partnership in all business to me.
I mean, you can't get better than consistency. I mean, I would say like-mind issues, someone that you Maybe you ain't gotta say exactly what you're thinking, but they know it because y'all are that close in business that you understand that I'm doing this, you're doing this. Yeah, the synergy is like I can't do everything, you can't do everything, so we gotta help each other.
Playing on each other's strengths.
Yeah, like if you don't have that, if you don't have nobody you can rely on, you feel by yourself. And when you feel by yourself, you're not 100%. Because it's like, man, I ain't got no one. We always like I say, you gotta have somebody to lean on.
Yeah. Bill Withers.
Come on, gotta do it. Somebody gotta help somebody. And if we don't help ourselves, which I think is a big issue in this cannabis game, is for so long it was a secret. It was so long it was hidden. And then when it came out, it wasn't came out right. It was more of controlling and manipulating. Don't do this because of this, and this is going to happen. They didn't know nothing about it. If they start their whole beginning, cannabis was perfect. It's like cotton, but it made competition, and they couldn't beat it, so they got rid of it. So now we're at, like Raymond said, we're at the prohibition part. It's the do or die. Or us as our cannabis family, are we going to let other people take it from us? Are we going to stand for something and work together and keep this as us? That's where I think is where it's at.
If she said consistency and reliability, I'd say motivation. Somebody
There
that
you
you can that motivates you, pushes you. A story real quick for us: we partner with a company called Rove. They make vape carts. They're all over the country. They're in 7 states. So we buy a lot of their raw goods. They're consistent. They're organic. They don't bring pesticides in the building, right? So we know that we can rely on them because they always deliver, right? And then moving forward, they're motivating us because they're in 7 states, right? So I want to be in 7 states. So, and because of that, because I motivate them, they motivate us. Now we're going to combine forces and go into certain states and, pay for expenses together and move as one. You know what I mean? So things like that, motivation, reliability, consistency.
I mean, that definitely answers my next question was how do you know you're making progress? So we'll just skip that one because those 3, consistency, motivation, and reliability. That's really been the theme. A lot of every single panel today, we've seen a lot of we need to come together as a community and support each other. I very much do believe we are communal beings at heart. We enjoy being around each other. We enjoy being in situations like this where we get information because we want, as humans, we love to find patterns. And we love information.
I will say this though, we do have to tell the real stories though of
Yeah.
cannabis, not just
not
giving
the good parts.
It's definitely not all the good parts.
Not just giving the black celebrities
right.
the forefront
Speak on
because there's a lot of us, no offense to nobody, kicking their ass in terms of having brands and selling and things like that. So we need to come together and tell the real stories and about the real people really building this industry.
We have to.
Yeah,
Not just hopping in it.
Yeah,
I agree.
not just hopping in. Just going back to your point real quick, and not to cut you off.
This is y'all panel.
It's some of us who really started. Me, I started in the basement in the dirt,
ground up.
Right. I own every single project that I have my hands on. I own all of my commercial properties. I own my lounge, everything. Right. A celebrity just to come in, jump on the, on the pack and, jump on the company and just hype it up when it's real people who really been working from the ground up. And I mean, from the basement all the way up to my level. And I'm sure I'm going to go higher. Right. We need to tell those real stories and we really need to be connecting with each other in a real way because we really impacting the community. We really touching the community. It's not just about the hype. It's about helping people and really educating people. And those are the people that matter the most.
And even doing things like this, I didn't even know. I've been in this game for 10 years. I didn't even know your story, to be honest with you. And that's, that could be on me as well. But bringing us all together to tell these stories and, collabing and because you're up north, I'm down south. We're doing a lot of things where like you, I'm self-funded. I started from nothing. I printing labels in my basement. I'd go sell the product, go in my car, label it, and then bring it back to them. You know what I mean? In 2012, So I think, some of us who really help build this industry should, get some more of the.
I think they have to give respect to the pioneers of this game, and they don't do it. Like we say, we started when it was nothing. We started before it was legal, when it was legal, and we got pushed out the way. And sorry to say, us as a people and us as how we deal in our community and how we have been interacted throughout life, we kind of just shake it off, go do what we
keep it
do,
moving.
and keep it moving.
On to the next hustle.
On to the next hustle. They got this one. I'm gonna go
I
find
think
something
of
else.
a new plan because he done took off with this one
is the
and
one.
didn't include
This
me.
is where the buck stopped here because we did this. You know how many of us went to jail for this? You know how many times we've been handcuffed, weed thrown away, jumped, pulled out the car, because the car smelled
Burned
like,
in front of you.
burned, man, everything because we need cannabis. Cannabis has been part of our culture since I can remember because that's the one thing that relax, it saves lives. I mean, we do it as medicinal, but the mental of it and where we're from, it could be different than you see tomorrow because somebody might have been relaxed. So we have to tell our stories. We have to come together as a community and face our fears, really. You know what I mean? And make them give us our just dues. Fuck the 40 acres in the mule. We need our props because we went through the trials and tribulations of weed. And that was from stomping out on the ground to you could sit there. New Year's, I was in New York for New Year's smoking. There was 40 cops around and it was normal. I'm like, never could do this before.
Right. So with that, how about you guys tell us some of your mentors and the people that you've looked up to through your journey that have really kind of helped you keep the faith and keep that motivation? It can be your friends or family or other people. Like, let's talk about them and give them a little bit, give them a little bit of shine and gratitude, because it does seem like you all are really grateful for where you've been and where you come to. And I think that's a really big theme, is the gratitude to be able to be here, because we know that so many of our brothers and sisters are not able to be here.
I stay thankful, number one, because I say all the time I have to be one of God's favorite, because at some point I felt like I wasn't. At some point I felt like God didn't see me, and then the line shined on me, and it's like God started giving me everything I deserve. So first and foremost, that's where it's at for me. But two things: Angela Davis is a powerhouse for me, right? The way you bring communities together, educate them, empower them, create a system for them that's going to empower them in their community. That's how I look at cannabis, right? And then secondly, my mentor, who is also the owner of Holy Smokables, right? But she's behind so much policy work. Margot, she's in the front row, right?
Margot, shout out.
She's behind so much policy work for cannabis, from corporate to ground level to everywhere. Just great relationships, great character. And you have to be able to be up under people that can get you in spaces that you wouldn't normally be able to get into. So I roll with my mentor. Anytime she say, be here, I'm there, right? And anytime be there, it always opens up an opportunity for me. So I'm always ready for the opportunity. Guess what? She told me to be here today. I was here. Hazy tapped me on the shoulder. Now I'm sitting in this seat. Right.
We need you at our panel.
So you got the
right now.
Yeah,
Right
being
now.
if you got the credentials, they might taste, right? I didn't plan on this, but I'm here to support my community and share anything that I have to, always at any given time.
Funny for me is the guy who brought me into was just over there doing an interview, Jason Beck.
Oh, I love Jason Beck.
Like
he might be. Oh, what? That beautiful face is back there.
Beck can tell you, as a young kid, I used to stalk Beck. I used to practically bang on the door like, you're gonna let me in. And hell no, I won't go. So one day he let me in, and from there, a few years later, I started a club because I basically worked for him for free, and I watched what he did, and it impacted me in a way that I was like, man, like, I've always old weed, been around weed, I smoked weed. I was a real weed head. I smoked weed. I'll go to the ends of the earth to find good weed.
Only the best weed in the world with Jason Beck.
Pharmacy Blue Dot, bring it back. But yeah, so just by that, I was like, man, I'm here every day. Like, what I gotta do? And from there, he taught me and showed me by example of what to do.
That's
so
beautiful.
Thank you, brother.
Shout out to Jason. Always got them doors open, man.
Everett?
I'd have to say 3 people. One, I'd have to give it to my mother. Single mom, raised me and my brother. Showed me you do what you got to do to make your shit happen. So for her, always be grateful. Second, my business partner. Going back to good partners, he taught me how to be consistent and reliable, and and that motivated me to be good. And then third, I live my life off quotes. I love quotes. So Muhammad Ali, it's one of my favorite people of all time. And then my motivation, my wife, just trying to build a life for
Everybody
us.
look, she's beautiful.
Just trying to build a life for us, and we have something that most people don't get a chance in life. We have a good product that people want, and we're trying to spread it across the country as fast as possible before they take it from us. And the big boys come in and
take it all over.
Yep. So
I better shout out mine because make sure you kill me if I didn't. But that's the one who grows all my weed and does all the best things for me. So hey, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, we could come there. I love Massachusetts.
We're
I love
stronger
it.
together, isn't that
I love
right?
it.
We're
They love me in
stronger
Boston.
together.
We can go.
So where can everybody find you so that they can support you? Because we're streaming, there's people here. Everybody wants to be able to create this community, that there are people that are watching this stream that are like, I needed to hear what Everett said. I needed to hear what J.O. said. I needed to hear what Sahir said. So where can everybody find you, and how is the best way for them to support you and what you need right now?
You go to my Instagram, DAJO45. Give me a follow, and we can go from there.
So I'm gonna say follow me on IG. I'm gonna give you 2 IGs. Of course, follow Detroit Life Lounge, right? And anybody who needs a cannabis friendly 420 space, a community space, an event space, a study space, a workspace, right? That is 420 friendly, Detroit Life Lounge. Reach out to me. I'm ready to build more structure for the cannabis community. So I need y'all help. I got the building, I own the building. Now where y'all at?
Tell your friends.
Somebody bring me some programs, some structure, some help, some more, you know what I'm saying? Even some donations, because everything is going to the community, I promise you. So follow Detroit Life Lounge, and follow me on my personal page, 313_Sahir, SAHHIR, because I always display my journey, whether it's a personal journey or a cannabis journey. I'm very vulnerable in my journey. I really allow God to use me, so I'm not ashamed of nothing. I'm approachable. You can DM me. You can have a conversation with me, and I promise you I'm a holla back.
I'm a little low key, so I don't have Instagram or nothing like that. But LinkedIn.
That's cool though.
Everett Smith on LinkedIn.
You might be the only person here that doesn't have an IG.
Never had one. But
we gotta get your IG, brother.
presidential.
Yeah, pop that link in. Pop that LinkedIn. Yes.
Yeah, you can follow the brand at RX Presidential on Instagram. We do have a brand page. But yeah. Oh, please, let's make sure we connect. We just launched. So we have a pizza restaurant in Hollywood called Esco's, and in the back we have a speakeasy 420 cannabis friendly lounge. So.
I'm coming there this week.
Hey, well, I'm definitely on LinkedIn too, everybody. Sahir Al Salam. I
Yes.
forgot because I'm not there enough. I need to be there more. So.
Thank you, Hazy. We came up with a phrase last night that's thank God for Hazy. So it's really, that's his new, we're going to rebrand. That's the new IG name, is thank God for Hazy. So thank you all so much for being here. Thank you to Black Cannabis Magazine for creating this space for all of us to be able to come here. I've heard so many people say they've seen more diversity here than they have in many years past. So that's what we're doing. Once the momentum starts, it doesn't stop, and the marathon continues.
Me, Sticker Farmer, and all that. We go to the after hour party. They say, "Y'all have weed?" So, yes, security.